Welcome everyone again back to the naughty list. And I am Haven, the villain Pendergast, and I am joined by a stable of my mates. And we are going to be talking about the top 10 underrated comedies. This is going to be interesting. This might be eye-opening. Hopefully you guys hear about a movie, might interest you to go watch it. And I am joined today, like I said, by these young studs. We have Caleb Mashed Potatoes.
Oh yeah, what's up, dude? I like the sultry intro you started with. It was nice. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be a lot of fun. We kind of did this in the chat, but it spun off into different tangents. So now we're doing it for real. Here we're making a definitive list of underrated comedies that people should see. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, you're dead correct. The voice was going to get us an NC-17 rating, but that's why. We talked about this in the chat room yesterday, and hey, it was a fun topic to talk about there. So we're going to talk about it live, and we are joined by Richard Schwartz, glorified jobber. What up, bro?
Not much. Looking forward to it. I mean, I got my list. Some are debatable whether it's underrated or not. I feel like it is, but some of you might be like, really? But like, I enjoy my list, so I'm looking forward to it.
Good stuff.
Last but certainly not least, is Caleb, Little Boatman. What's up, dude?
Yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, this is a tough list to make because like there are like 17 movies that could have landed on my list at least. Like, I had to narrow this down quite a bit. This is tough, but I'm excited.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. We're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna start from number 10 to number 9. We're each gonna talk about the film. Why we like it. Why we think we're underrated. If somebody else happens to have that on their list, they could say pause. Keep it for later. And we'll talk about that at another time. If there's a movie that people don't think is underrated, we could do a vote. And if we get 2 people that says, no, that's too mainstream, then that film is out of there. And hopefully these guys got some backup. We're here to have fun, talk about some films. So shit, it's your guys' show. I'm just here watching it. So we're going to start with Mashed Potatoes at number 10.
All right. So in keeping with the theme of the naughty list, I went ahead and threw this up there. I think it got a lot of hate. It's a 2008 comedy that not many people see. I only saw it because it came on HBO and then immediately fell in love with it. It looks terrible. It was badly marketed, but it's 2008's Sex Drive. I really enjoyed this movie. The story of a young high school kid going off to try and meet this girl that he fell in love with online to lose his virginity. What could be more fun? You got like a great supporting cast. You got James Marsden. You got Seth Green. Clark Duke is like, this was his breakout role. This is what got him Hot Tub Time Machine. Dude, this whole movie's freaking hilarious. Like the Rumspringa scenes were freaking fantastic. Everything Seth Green was in was hilarious as the Amish dude. I love this movie. So that's my number 10, Sex Drive.
All right. That's a good intro. That's a great fucking film to start with. Not a lot of people have seen that. I know I haven't personally seen it. So interesting. We're gonna jump to Richard Schwartz, number 10.
All right. For my number 10, I put a very, I think a lot of people didn't consider this funny, but I quite enjoyed it. It involved Will Ferrell, and that would be Blades of Glory.
Ooh.
Now, I thought, for an ice skating type of comedy movie, like I wasn't gonna I didn't think it was gonna be as funny as it was, and me personally, I thought it was hysterical. Like just the chemistry that John Heder and Will Ferrell had, along with Amy Poehler and her ex-husband now.
Oh yeah, Will Arnett, yeah.
And surprisingly, it worked. like the ending, like quite like when they were trying to do like the dangerous ice skating move. He's like, "If you cut my head off, I swear I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
Lotus.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, the Lotus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anybody else has that on the
Iron
list?
Lotus. No, I don't have it on my list, but I really enjoyed that movie. I'm surprised I didn't think of it myself. But yeah, that's one that like didn't get a whole lot of love, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, isn't a little boat?
Okay, yes. My number 10.
Oh, no,
you
did you have any thoughts on Blades of Glory?
I'll admit, I have not seen this film. I've heard of it, and I've heard it's funny. Have not seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my number 10 is
hold
a
on,
Woody Allen movie.
Hey,
Oh,
hold on.
sorry.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say that Blaze of Glory was not on my list because I thought it was I didn't think it was underrated. I thought it was a great movie for its time, you know.
I think it kind of came and went.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, out of like Will Ferrell movies, like that was one of the few that, like, you know, not many people talk about.
that's
So
true.
I consider it an underrated comedy.
No, it's good. That's good. Good choice. All right, Little Boat, number 10.
Yeah, my number 10. It's a Woody Allen movie. I was a little unsure whether or not this would be considered underrated, but I went with it. It's The Purple Rose of Cairo.
It's not on my list.
I love this movie so much. It's Jeff Daniels, Mia Farrow. It's basically like if Woody Allen made Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Because, like, basically, Jeff Daniels is amazing in it. He plays both an actor and the actor's character who comes to life and comes out of the screen. And there are so many, like, great moments, like, in references to, like, classic cinema. And Jeff Daniels is absolutely hilarious. Mia Farrow, like, is kind of giving a dramatic performance, but she's, like, a good kind of straight person to the you know, like not straight as in straight gay, but like straight as in the comedy role. I saw Haven kind of like, what do you mean? So, like, I mean like that, like the, you know, the normal person to not the, I'm
To the kooky person. Yeah.
yeah the kook
Straight
yeah
man.
Jeff Daniels is the kooky character to the Mia Farrow's not kooky character, and I think it really works. It's my number 10. I like that movie a lot. It's funny.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, I've never personally seen that film, so I have no clue what it's about. Anybody else?
I mean, that's a pretty good description of it. I feel like if Last Action Hero was a Woody Allen movie,
Yeah.
because it is like it's a movie character like comes off of the screen and then like I believe they have a romance with Mia Farrow
Yes.
and it's like a weird love triangle thing that like
Yes.
I only vaguely remember this movie. I'm not a huge Woody Allen fan, but I remembered it being okay, which is, you know, good for a Woody Allen movie in my book. Richard, do you have any thoughts on it?
I honestly, I don't think I've ever seen it, but
See,
I've heard good things.
so that's definitely makes it a fair underrated movie then.
I probably would have put it higher on my list then, but
Yeah.
it's all right.
All right, and my number 10, I have Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, come on.
Damn
Underrated?
it.
Number 10.
I think.
Does anybody
No,
have that on
that
their
is
list?
very underrated. That is a very because like it's like I never heard of it until I saw it on Netflix.
Really?
And I enjoyed it. I actually wish I had thought of that to put on my list.
I disagree, but let Haven go.
Yeah, hey, go ahead, Eva.
Wait, what'd you disagree about? That is not.
I think it's one of those movies that was underrated at the time, and now everybody like brings it up as an underrated movie to where it's not underrated anymore, like The Iron Giant or Big Trouble in Little China. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of got a cult classic feel. But I mean, I'm sure there's people out here that haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a cult classic. Everybody's seen it. That's why it's underrated, you know? Because,
All right. But yeah, go ahead, Taven. Talk about the
All right.
movie.
all right, you guys don't think it's should be on the
No,
list?
talk about the movie.
All right. This was not one I was expecting to enjoy or even watch. You know, it's like when I seen the trailer, you know, it's just like, all right, two hillbillies. You know, I was like, you know, I was like, I don't know who the fuck these people are. I knew one guy. He was off of Serenity, Alan Tudyk, but the other guy I wasn't really aware of. You know, I think this was when he was kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just stupid funny. Like it was stupid fucking funny, this film. You know, the two guys were sweethearts and harmless, and just the way these idiots that are trying to camp, you know, are trying to do something and they end up dying, like each one in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's underrated, you know.
Oh.
Not a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people, some people might have seen this, but I don't know. To me, I thought it was underrated because they didn't make shit at the box office. You know, it's just a movie that people have heard about, but how many times have you talked to people and be like, "Oh yeah, this movie," you know, so I just think it's The Circle. But I thought this was okay for my number 10.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Caleb. You got any thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, I mean this. I'll admit I haven't actually seen the movie. I've heard so many people talk about it, which is why.
Underrated.
But like I've heard so many people talk about it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like I've heard, like that's where I'm coming from. Like just so many people talk about it as an underrated movie. I'm not sure it's underrated anymore. But that's just, you know, I think it's a good number 10 pick.
I think it's it's definitely. I think it's definitely a good number 10 pick. I think it's more in the cult classic kind of range, which is like, I guess it could be underrated, but I feel like the only reason it's not kind of underrated is because of Netflix. Like, because if people have Netflix and are into horror movies or into Alan Tudyk or Tyler Labine, like they might have seen it. But I think it's definitely a fair number 10 pick. I personally love this movie. It's great. Like Tyler Labine, like never gets enough love, in my opinion. And this movie is kind of like the entire time, like he's the star of the movies. That like sort of it's so good. Like Haven said, just like the interesting ways that like they're trying to kill Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine, and they're just like they just like look the other way and accidentally kill themselves is hilarious. The wood chipper scene in particular is like so freaking funny. He just threw himself head first into the wood chipper. And I love that movie. So yeah, great pick.
Yeah. I'm still editing my list. Like I'm switching things around. I'm good now.
Oh, good. You have any thoughts on Tucker and Dale before we move on?
Tucker and Dale, like I said, like the first time I heard of Tucker and Dale was on Netflix, and I saw it, and I just laughed out loud at that movie. Like if I remembered to put that, it probably would have been on my list as well.
Yeah, so far 2 of these have been like, oh man, I should have had that on my list.
Yep, sure indeed. All right, so I guess we all had different number 10s. Now let's see what happens at number 9. I'm gonna go first with this one. My number 9 is Reno 911 Miami from 2007. Nice.
Definitely underrated.
This was I don't think Boatman was watching TV at this time. This was a TV show from Comedy Central that turned into a movie. The Rock was, I think this was one of The Rock's earliest roles. He was on the scene for like maybe 3 minutes.
His earliest comedic role, at least.
Well, The Rundown was before this. Rundown was 2003.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. But this was when The Rock was just, you know, like getting into comedy. The other shit was kind of serious. So this was like his like little guest appearance, you know, and that scene was funny. But the whole movie was just really stupid funny. If you watch Reno 911 and you enjoy that humor when they made a movie, I thought it was funny. But this is a movie nobody talks about, and that's why it's my number 9. So we'll go to Richard. Oh, I mean, unless somebody, you guys haven't.
All I could say with Reno 911, like I love the movie, but I always categorize the same with Psych the movie. Like I just consider it just like a longer episode of Reno 911. That's how because I love the movie. I just always thought it. I mean, I know it's a movie, but like I always considered it just a longer episode.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a special kind of.
I did not.
It was really good.
Yeah, I did not know this movie existed. I had heard of the TV show. I did not know there was a movie. Was this released in theaters?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
He mentioned Psych the movie, and I was like, well, that was only on TV, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, 2007. Yeah.
I love Psych, but that's a tangent.
And then they try to reboot the Reno 911 like show, and it's like it was okay, but just not as good as with the original cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I freaking love that movie and the show. But like the thing is that like you could honestly make a list of just Thomas Lennon and Robert Ben Garant movies, and like because they're all underrated. I think like these guys write so many freaking movies, and you wouldn't even know it. I mean, it's Junior and Lieutenant Dangle are the guys who wrote and directed this movie, I believe. And they wrote all of the Reno 911. They created like a bunch of different shows. They've made so many movies. They made Balls of Fury. They made that freaking Matthew Perry, Zac Efron movie. They've written like a ton of movies. But yeah, I loved this movie. Like like Haven said, the Rock's scene, like even though he's only in it for like a minute, is hilarious. Like it sets up this entire like insane world. Where basically like he comes in and is like quarantines every cop in the entire state of Florida is in this convention, and they're all quarantined, and then the Rock gets killed, and then so like the only people that are like law enforcement in all of Florida are freaking the Reno Police Department. It's hilarious. I love that movie.
It is a treat. It is a treat. All right, now we're gonna go to Little Boat number 9.
My number 9 is 2011's Bernie with Jack Black.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a movie I just kind of found on Netflix. I had heard nobody talk about it. You know, I just saw it on Netflix one day and thought, this looks good. I like Jack Black, and I was very impressed. This is kind of what introduced me to Richard Linklater and all those movies. Even though I had seen School of Rock before, I didn't know who Richard Linklater was yet. This was kind of my introduction to that. It's partially presented in a mockumentary style, which actually works. If I'm not mistaken, they actually have like the real life people playing themselves talking about Bernie, which really works. This is the best Jack Black performance I've ever seen. He is amazing because you get the feeling like, okay, I really like this guy, but then you also kind of understand why he like the murder, and Shirley MacLaine is just horrible. You hate her so much, and it's a lot of fun. There's some good dark humor in it, and I like that movie a lot.
All right, I've never seen it. Any of you guys?
Richard?
I've heard of it. I just never actually just sit down and watched it.
Yeah, based on a true story, it's really good.
Yeah, like I've heard of it. No, I've actually seen it. The problem is I get it confused a lot with, like when you said Bernie, immediately I was like, wait, is that the Zach Galifianakis one or is it the Jack Black one? Once you went into detail, I like remembered a little more. I remember enjoying it, but it kind of came and went for me. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
All right.
All right. Cool.
So now we're going to I believe Richard Schwartz, number 9.
All right. This may be controversial because like I know maybe a lot of people might not consider it underrated, but the fact that like I rarely hear people talk about this movie much anymore or even quote this is why I have it on my list. And it is Grandma's Boy.
Nice.
I think this is fair. This is a fair pick.
Yeah.
This is one of the few Adam Sandler made movies that I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. Like it was hysterical. Like I mean, I used a huge video gamer, and just the cast is really good. You have the mother from Everybody Loves Raymond in it as the grandmother, and you have the dude from Dodgeball, the skinny one, as the kind of the villain. And it's just like the comedy was on point. And you also have Nick Swartzen in the movie. He's hysterical in that as well. Like, it was just a well thought out comedy, very enjoyable. My favorite line in the whole movie was, "How can they see me?"
Yeah. Yes. Heck yeah.
And that's why it's my number 9. I mean, in case this wasn't accepted, I had another answer for a number 9, but since it was accepted, I won't have to discuss it.
I think this one kind of falls into that like cult classic status too. Like it's definitely underrated. I feel like it came up to being a cult classic and then kind of got forgotten again.
Yeah.
But dude, the cast is just insane. I mean, you got Alan Covert, who's like in all like most of the Happy Madison movies. Nick Swardson, who's a new one, but like he was actually good in this movie, so that was like a thumbs up. Linda Cardellini, I'm looking at it. Doris Roberts, like you said, from Everybody Loves Raymond. Joel David Moore is the guy who he was like, "How can they see me?" Jonah Hill was in this. David Spade, Kevin Nealon. It's the cast goes on and on of like great characters, and dude, just like so much of that was like hilarious. Just like the interactions between him and the older ladies. He's like trying to hide his bong as a vase and all that. Like, there's so much fun stuff in that movie. I love that movie. Yeah, for sure. Grandma's Boy, thumbs up.
All right. I just quick switched up my list because I was going to do one that I didn't think was quite underrated enough. So I put in at number 8 a movie that I haven't heard anyone talk about.
Caleb.
We're just asking for Grandma's Boy thoughts.
Oh,
yeah, we're still on.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this was the first time I seen it. I didn't think it was that funny, and then when I watched it again, I was cracking up. You know, when he was lying to his friends about, yeah, I'm living with 3 older ladies.
Yeah,
You gotta be satisfied, and you know that's why I'm so tired. And he was developing a video game. It was funny. You know, some of the things were straight Adam Sandler shit, like the guy that was selling the smoke, and he had like the African voodoo guy as his like best friend and and shit. I was like, but yeah, the movie was kind of a forgotten gem. There was a couple other things that came out that year that just were a little bigger. But yeah, if Grandma's Boy would have been bigger, I think that guy could have probably like, you know, featured in other films, you know, being like the main star. But yeah, that was a good one.
For sure.
And now we're back to Caleb, mashed potatoes. What is
Number 9.
Yep.
I already know this is going to be a hold or whatever, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is a movie that I saw and immediately went out and bought on DVD at freaking Blockbuster for my little brother because he always wanted to be a magician at the time. Not so much anymore, but at the time he wanted to be a magician. And this movie like really spoke to me. He ended up never watching it. I took that shit back and I watched it like 4 or 5 more times. I love this movie. It is, of course, the Colin Hanks classic, The Great Buck Howard.
Jump ahead.
And there we go.
Yeah, this is higher up on my list. I love this movie.
Nice. All right, so we're punting it.
Yep.
Or moving it on up.
We're gonna go to Richard. What's your number 8?
Did you already do yours, Haven, for number 9?
Yeah, mine was Reno 911.
Yeah, his was Reno 911.
Oh, okay. My number 8 is one of my favorite comedies that like I know it was theatrically released. I never saw it until I bought it on DVD. It starred Anton Yelchin as a boy who, you know, doesn't quite fit in, but he goes to another school and he becomes and it's called a psychiatrist, sort of some sorts. The movie's called Charlie Bartlett. It also stars Robert Downey Jr., Kat Dennings, and this movie was just. It was like one of my favorite type of comedies is not the super like ha over the top comedy, but it's the situational comedies that I adore. And this was one of those movies where like it was funny quite a bit, but it wasn't like always over the top funny. It was like it was spot on, you know, humor. And that's why I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. also plays an incredible job as like, you know, the principal and the father, and it kind of it's a different take. Like we've seen him, we think of Robbie Downey Jr., we think of Iron Man, and it was just a nice take seeing him in another movie other than superheroes, and he did a good job in this.
True indeed. Yeah, I never really watched that movie yet.
I'll jump in on that one. That was like such a good movie. I recommended that to like all of my friends when I was in like 2006 or whenever it came out. I really enjoyed that movie. It's probably one of the first times I got a crush on Kat Dennings. Anton Yelchin was freaking amazing in it. Like the comedy it was really funny, but there was also a lot of like real drama that was felt in that. You know, he's a character who's I believe his dad died, and he's just like on all these different. And his mom's kind of just this rich, like aloof parent that like let's whatever. He's kind of raised by psychiatrists, so he's on all these different medications, and all he really wants is somebody to talk to. And like he starts like because he literally becomes the school psychiatrist in the bathroom of the school, dealing his own prescriptions to kids that like to the kids that actually need them and stuff. And like it, dude, so much of it is great. Robert Downey Jr. puts on like a heartbreaking performance towards the end when he breaks down and is drunk and is Kat Dennings is run off because he scared her, and him and Charlie are just like having the conversation, and he shoots the boat off of his deck. Like, such a good movie, such a good pick. Way to go, man.
All right. We're gonna go to Little Boat.
All right, my number 8 is a spoof movie. It came out in 2007, and it stars John C. Reilly. It is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
We're gonna pass that. We're gonna pause on that one.
Jump that one up.
All right,
we got 2 jumps. All right,
so it's on me. All right, my number 8 is from 2012, and it is a film called The Watch. This is Vince
Hill. That's a good choice.
Yeah. Lander dude. This was
the guy from the IT crowd. Never remember his name.
Richard Ayoade.
Yeah, that's it.
No, this one this just caught a bad rep because at the time some political shit happened, like some real shit happened.
Yeah,
it was the Trayvon Martin things.
The Trayvon Martins. They actually had to change the name because it was originally called Neighborhood Watch.
It was called the Neighborhood Watch.
And they recut the trailers because they weren't going to show any of the alien stuff in the trailers originally, and then they put it in because they didn't want people to think it was just a movie about a neighborhood watch.
Yep.
Yeah, because nobody was going to.
It's underrated. Like the first time I seen it, I was kind of like, but it's one of those where I watch it again and I'm laughing and shit. Like, okay, this is funny. There was a lot of stupid comedy in it, but it was good. Quantity, the cops, the dim-witted cops in the town. Some side plots that were kind of like, didn't need to be there, like the daughter shit. But it is what it is. But Jonah Hill was funny as hell in this movie. Vince Vaughn was pretty much Vince Vaughn. And the new guy that they brung in, I forget. Oh shit,
Richard Ayoade.
Yep.
Richard Ayoade,
yeah. That dude was funny as hell. Just with his monotone deliveries, he was funny as fuck. And it was entertaining. I thought it was an entertaining movie from beginning to end, and I had a bunch of laughs. And I don't think too many people watched it. So that is my number 8 is The Watch from 2012.
Yeah, I feel like that was really a kind of a victim of the times, unfortunately. Like, I really enjoyed that movie too. Another just little tidbit is Doug Jones was actually the alien guy. That when they actually finally revealed the alien, it was Doug Jones of Everything fame, of Everything with Guillermo del Toro fame. Like that sounds so awesome. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. This is like one of the last movies of like the frat pack era of comedies that like happened in the 2000s where like every comedy starred Will Ferrell, Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, you know, those, and Owen Wilson. Like the frat pack era. This was kind of one of the last ones to really come out, and you still see ones every once in a while with those guys, but like you don't see those guys work together that much anymore. You know, just because they start in kind of bomb after bomb.
Yeah. Okay.
But like I again, like one of the few bombs that they did that like it wasn't their fault that it was a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
It was actually a good movie.
Richard, you
what's up? Any thoughts?
Got any thoughts on it?
I mean, when you have Vince Vaughn pulling out alien testicles, it's a good time film. It's all good time film.
Oh yeah.
all right. So that was our number 8, and we have 2 punts. So we're gonna go to wait, you guys said your number 8.
My number 8. I didn't say mine.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's right. Let's go to Caleb Mashed Potato.
So I wanted to have a couple classics in this one. So my number 8 is one that hopefully at least the people that went to film school have seen, but I doubt you guys have seen it. If you have, good on you. Mine, number 8, is from 1930. And it's the Marx Brothers classic, Animal Crackers. Animal Crackers is hilarious. It's that old timey like New Yorky like like kind of fast talking comedy that just doesn't exist anymore. It's like Groucho Marx is brought in like he's a war hero, and he's off on safari, and he's brought in to run this hotel that's like going out of that's like going under and stuff. He's brought in to like bring more acclaim to it. It's got the famous song "Hello, I Must Be Going," which is, if you ask me, it's freaking hilarious because like literally it's just like he keeps trying to leave, and they keep making the song go on and on. It's a fantastic movie. Animal Crackers, go check it out. It's the Marx Brothers. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the movie. I have not seen that Marx Brothers movie. I own it actually because I've got like this collection of Marx Brothers movies. I've seen Duck Soup, and I really like Duck Soup
too. Yeah,
Duck Soup. I didn't put it on my Duck Soup on my list because I didn't find it underrated enough.
Exactly.
Like,
because if you've seen a Marx Brothers movies, you've seen Duck Soup. Like that's the one you've seen if you've seen one.
Yeah.
That's why I went with Animal Crackers, and also, I mean, there's just so many like iconic scenes in this. Like I believe the mirror scene happens in this where.
No, that's Duck Soup.
No, you're right. It's Duck Soup. Dang. There's the scene when oh shoot, what's his name? Is playing the piano and everybody's sneaking around. That is in Animal Crackers. There's a lot of good stuff in it. Animal Crackers is awesome.
All right. What year was that from again?
1930.
1930.
Ooh, yeah. Deep for that one. Holy shit. All right, let's go to Richard Schwartz.
My thoughts? Oh, number 8?
Oh,
I already did my number 8. No, I already did my number 8. I did Charlie Bartlett.
Yeah, if you have thoughts
I've
on
never
Animal
seen it,
Crackers
so
or your number 7.
I have never seen it. Maybe I'll check it out. I will check it out.
Cool.
All right. Okay, so now we're up to number 7. We're going to start with Little Boat. What is your number 7?
My number 7 is the franchise is very popular. This sequel is not very popular. Nobody talks about this one. It's The Pink Panther Strikes Again.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, yeah. This is, Peter Sellers. This basically, Inspector Dreyfus has just gotten out of the insane asylum that he was put in because Inspector Clouseau just drove him so crazy. And basically, what he decides to do is he basically becomes a supervillain in this movie. he like builds a laser that is going to destroy the world unless they bring him Clouseau and let him kill him. Like he's so obsessed with his hatred for Clouseau is that he puts the rest of the world in jeopardy just to kill Clouseau. It's so great. And Clouseau is basically trying to, stop it from happening. Well, there's this great scene where all the words, actually, sorry, he doesn't need the people to bring him Clouseau, just kill Clouseau, basically. So there's a scene where he's like at this party and they're getting like all these assassins who are trying to kill Clouseau, but he keeps just like avoiding them and they kill each other. And it's great. And Deep Roy has a cameo. The dude from who played all the Oompa Loompas in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and he's in a lot of other things. That dude is in that movie. He's one of the assassins, and yeah, it's hilarious. I love this movie.
Okay.
Also, the movie that made that Tiny Tim song "Tiptoe Through the Tulips" popular.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. I honestly hadn't thought about this Pink Panther Strikes Again in a long time. But man, anything Pink Panther you put in front of me, I'll freaking watch it and die. Except maybe the Roberto Benigni one. But
Yeah, I like the Steve Martin ones. I don't think those are too bad.
I liked it. I was talking about the son of the Pink Panther, the Roberto Benigni one.
The Roberto Benigni one's not.
I don't care for that one too much.
Yeah,
But
those are a few of those. That's why I think they don't really get talked about. I mean, some people don't remember.
It's a good movie. I mean, I haven't seen that movie in such a long time, but I remember thoroughly enjoying it.
All right. So we're gonna go to.
Just are freaking fantastic. I mean, kind of like Tucker and Dale in that, like, people are literally trying to kill him, and he's like bending over, and they end up like flying off a cliff.
Yeah,
like it's that kind of like perfect slapstick. It's hilarious. It's a great movie.
Oh, I want to quote one great like little one-liner from this movie, and Inspector Clouseau goes, "Does your dog bite?" "No, my dog does not bite." He goes over to pet the dog, bites his hand. "You said your dog does not bite." "That is not my dog."
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to Richard. What is your number 7?
My number 7, it really doesn't hold up today, but it's so part of my childhood that I still love this movie to death. And it's because I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, because we're all dudes. It's called Nickelodeon's Good Burger. From All That. I absolutely love this from All That. I was a huge All That when I was a kid. This was one of my favorite All That skits, and when they made a movie of it with Kenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell, I was like, I'm happy. Like I said, it really doesn't hold up today, but it's such a great movie when you're a kid. The music was awesome. That one song made the whole movie, and I will defend it to my dying breath.
Awesome. Hey, that was a surprise hit right there that you just dropped on us. This movie was I think I was a little older to see this movie. I was kind of out of all that phase, but that's an interesting one. You guys seen this?
I mean, I'm 33. I still love it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Absolutely, I saw that movie. That was like middle school for me, I want to say, somewhere around there. I enjoyed that movie. I haven't gone back to watch it again, but I enjoyed it at the time.
I still love it.
Yeah, they played this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say another great, like, Sinbad was, I believe, the bad guy in it. He was a lot of fun. And then this is a quick note, just because I've been looking him up and stuff. This is the second movie with Linda Cardellini in it that we've talked about. So good on that.
I've seen this movie because Nickelodeon played it like round the clock back in the 2000s. So like I've seen this movie quite a bit. I didn't put it on my list. Same reason I didn't put Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz on my list. Because it's cheesy, but it doesn't hold up, I don't think. But good for you for putting it on yours. It's fun.
I mean, I know it doesn't hold up today, but like it's part of my childhood, and it's always going to be on my list, no matter what.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, we can definitely call it underrated, though.
All right, I guess
Like,
a little. What do you got for number 7?
Who?
Little Boat.
Oh, me. I had Pink Panther Strikes Again at number 7.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! All right,
So shit. Me then.
Oh, my fault. Mashed potatoes.
All right. Mine, as I'm going all over the place now, I'm moving up to 2014 now. This is, I guess it's kind of a cult movie. It made the director pretty popular. He got a kind of a blockbuster movie off of this. But I know if I was talking to somebody on the street, they probably wouldn't know what the hell I was talking about if I said, have you seen What We Do in the Shadows? It's freaking great. It's another mockumentary. So that's 2 on this list so far. If you don't know, Taika Waititi directed it and acted in it with Jermaine Clements and a few other people. They're like basically frat vampires. They live together. They party together. They're just like and they're just like making vampires normal is the reason why they're doing that. We're not evil. We're just like everybody else. We pay rent. We do the chore wheel, all that stuff. I absolutely love this movie when I saw it, and it's definitely underrated. I don't think nearly enough people, like everyday people, know about this movie. Even though I'm pretty sure it's what got Taika Waititi Thor Ragnarok. So yeah, that's What We Do in the Shadows, man. It's great.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I had that here on my list. And that would have been my 11th. That was my first substitute. If one of my movies, you guys said like, no, that's not a underrated film. So I was surprised to see this on your list. It was a great film. I love this fucking movie. But let's hear from Little Bo and Richard. What you guys about?
I love this movie. I did not put it on my list because, like, personally, I was just like, this, like, people talk about this movie a little too much for me to consider like fully underrated. But I'm not gonna say that it's not underrated. But
what was the movie? I didn't hear Caleb's choice. What was the movie?
What We Do in the Shadows.
What Will We Do in the Shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
New Zealander vampire movie.
Yeah. Is that the one with Johnny Depp?
No,
that's Dark.
No, that's Dark Shadows. It's
okay.
the one with Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi.
Yep.
And other people that nobody knows who they are.
Honestly, I don't think I've heard of it. So.
Yo, all right.
There you go. See, prove my point.
We'll talk about this movie. I was saving this as my first reserve. Like, if you guys were to challenge, like, no, that's too mainstream. This is a fucking great film. I should, damn it, yeah, I should have put this on my list. I just thought I thought it was gonna be fucking challenged. Yo, this movie is funny as fuck as a mockumentary style. Living with vampires. The funniest line I think the movie was when Jeremy Clemens is like, I forget what the line is now. I wrote it down for a question before and I said it. But when he's like, don't you see my friend just got killed in an accidental sunlight accident or some shit?
Yeah.
And then the new guy, he's like, yeah, I'm a werewolf. Not a werewolf. He's like, yeah, I'm a vampire. Then a vampire hunter comes. The swearwolves, the bee.
Yeah, we're werewolves. We're not swearwolves.
This movie just had so much quirky, funny shit. When I heard about it and I first seen it, because I heard about it, I was like, what the hell? And when I finally seen it, I was like, yo, this thing is just amazingly funny as hell. Little Boat. What we doing in the chat?
Or what?
What we do in the shadows, bro?
Yeah, I think this is like the way to do like the Friedberg and Seltzer type comedies where that we all hate, where it's just like a million different references like to the same type of movie, like the epic movies, the disaster movies, where it's just reference after reference after reference. Like this is like that because like there are so many different movies that they're spoofing here. They're spoofing, the main four ones are Nosferatu, Dracula, the 1992 Dracula, and Twilight. But like, and they are a reference to the Loft Boys.
And the Universal monsters, werewolves and stuff too. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. So like, it's just kind of the perfect type of mega reference spoof movie, and I love it so much. If I would have considered it underrated, it would have been possibly my number one.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go to my number 7, and this is a little older film that I think is underrated that a lot of people probably haven't seen. That's gonna be the 1991 film, directed by Dan Aykroyd, starring Chevy Chase and Debbie Moore. Nothing But Trouble.
Oh.
I think this is underrated because I think Little Boat has no clue what I'm talking about right now. This was
well, I do know now.
this was a weird. If right now watching it, you're probably like, "Holy shit!" But at that time, like it was dark. It had some really dark moments in the film. Some of the prosthetics for the family were crazy. Tupac was in this when he was still down with fuck is his name now? Jesus, I can't. Humpty, the Humpty dance.
Mr. Humpty.
Yep, when he was down with his band, it was just a mixture of just weird stuff from beginning to end. Two twins were terrifying. The whole outside stuff was terrifying, but it had some really funny moments. And I think it just kind of gets thrown under the rug, I don't think too many people talk about this movie. Actually, DVD, because I need this in my collection. I think it's just underrated. I don't think people just talk about this film like they should. But it's 91's Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah, dude. I totally forgot about this movie until you started talking about it, and I just looked it up here. It's like, oh yeah, that movie. Oh yeah, dude. Dude, I love that movie. That was the first time I'd ever seen a sword cane. Dan Aykroyd is in just like terrifying freaking prosthetics as the judge.
Yep.
John Candy's hilarious as like the cop.
Oh, yeah.
And the
sister, yeah. There's dude, so much good. Like, dang. It's a good movie. I remember watching this. I think I saw this on like WGN, like midnight movie or something once, and I had to watch it like over 3 different like showings, but they showed it all the time for like a year on their like Saturday night midnight movies. And I finally caught it and was like, oh, dude, this is freaking hilarious. I really like that movie. Freaking Mr. Humpty.
Richard, you've seen this film before, correct?
I have. Like, it's one of those ones where I forgot about. Like, when I think of Chevy Chase, I always think of Three Amigos, but he did a really good job in this movie as well. It was an interesting movie because it wasn't a movie I necessarily would put Chevy Chase in, but it was a surprisingly good movie. Good choice.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I got this question in a trivia match. I got it wrong because I had never heard of this movie. So I watched the trailer, and the trailer looks pretty funny. So that's what I'll say about that.
All right.
It's messed up 90s freaking horror comedy. It's so good.
All right, we're gonna go to number 6. Mashed potatoes. What do you have at number 6?
All right, number 6. I'm guessing none of you have seen. The only reason I saw it is because I'm a huge comedy podcast nerd. So like all of these people were on Comedy Bang Bang or How Did This Get Made and all these other things promoting it. It's a movie with like a crap ton of like UCB comedians and Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's called Welcome to the Jungle. It's freaking hilarious. It's basically these a whole office like crew of like ad executives and people that work in ad sales. They go on a team building exercise. Yeah, it was with JCVD.
I've seen that shit.
Nice. Their plane breaks down. They get marooned on the island, and Jean-Claude Van Damme is their like tour event coordinator or whatever. He's going to make them all like learn teamwork, and it just dissolves into basically Lord of the Flies, but with like freaking like grown ass adults like being totally insane. They start eating like some of them find like mushrooms and they're all just like tripping the whole time. They start worshiping. Oh no, not Rob Riggle, the other guy. Dang it, I can't remember his name right now. They start like worshiping him as their god, and they like a couple guys have to come back and save him. To look up their freaking actors' names, but it's all good. But yeah, Welcome to the Jungle. Freaking Jean-Claude Van Damme was hilarious in it, which is tough to pull off. Believe me, I've seen a lot of JCVD movies. He's not a funny guy. This movie, he's pretty dang funny. And Kristen Schaal is in it. She's hilarious. The like Asian nerd guy from those Geico commercials is in it. There's a ton of people, but it's not like a well-known cast. It's basically a bunch of comedians.
Yeah, that's true. That movie, I watched it, and it just wasn't funny, though. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme was probably the funniest fucker in the movie. That's like...
Come on, when he's fighting the tiger. He's fighting the tiger.
He was the funniest guy in that film, you know, and a lot of these other people were like extras in movies, or they were like in the movie, but they had like a minor role. I mean, it's okay to watch, but I mean, it was I forget the main character, and the antagonist was
Adam Brody from.
We just lost Caleb.
I couldn't think of it, but yeah, it was a good film. Definitely, people should check it out. You know, I guess if you can find it funny, it is underrated comedy.
All right, like so, I just looked it up. Okay, so the main guy was Adam Brody. From being a teenage heartthrob. The sister from Chuck. Then you got Kristen Schaal, Rob Hubel, freaking Dennis Haysbert is the boss. He's freaking hilarious. As like the guy who's like always praising Rob Hubel and even though Rob Hubel stole Adam Brody's like mascot, the toilet paper koala.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was hilarious. He's all like just totally unapologetic, just like totally oblivious. He's funny as hell. Eric Edelstein as the best friend, like stoner, who's just high the whole time, like is hilarious. And his relationship with Kristen Schaal, who's like it's just Kristen Schaal. You know, she's Louise from Bob's Burgers, just being like her insane self. But her and the relationship with Eric Edelstein was like they're constantly like, I hate you, I want to kill you, but they like love each other. I freaking enjoyed this movie a lot, and like nobody saw it. Nobody freaking saw that movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed it though.
Yeah,
I mean, the only movies I've seen Adam Brody in was Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Grind, and I just kind of mad because I just forgot to put Grind on my list. I loved Grind. But oh well, it happens.
All right, let's go to Richard. What is your number 6?
Well, originally my number 6 was Get Smart, but I actually just thought of another movie that I haven't thought of in a long time that I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know why it popped into my head, but this movie came out in the 90s. It starred Brendan Fraser. It was called Bedazzled.
Oh.
And basically, this movie had Brendan Fraser. He was in love with his coworker, and he just never had the courage to ask her out. So the devil decides to say he basically Brendan Fraser's character sells his soul
Yeah,
and gives him multiple chances to get with this girl. And I just really love this movie. I just I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember laughing so much in this movie. It had a lot of funny humor,
The
a lot of
devil
heart.
played by Elizabeth Hurley, by the way.
Yes, and I just remember, and I enjoyed this movie, so that's why I have it on my list now.
nice, nice. And that was your number 6. Yeah, I
That's
seen
my
this
number
movie
6.
at the time. Yeah, I was like, Brendan Fraser sucked, but this one was kind of funny. It had some chuckles in that. The one scene I always remember was the basketball scene. You know, when
Yeah, me too.
when he started speaking. No, I think he was speaking Spanish, and then he started speaking Spanish. And then when he went to the basketball scene, and he had the little penis, you know, and he was tall.
Yeah. No, my favorite one is where he ends up actually with, or ends up being an intellectual, but he finds out he's actually gay. He didn't know. He's like, wait, no.
Yeah, this wasn't on my list. It was Elizabeth. What the fuck is her last name again?
Hurley.
Yeah, she did like maybe 3 to 5 year type of span, and this was in between that, and it kind of came and went. But yeah, this is underground gem. If you watch something from by Brandon Fraser, that's funny. Any of you guys seen this, and what are your thoughts?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Too late. I said you go ahead.
He never seen
Okay,
it.
I'll go ahead. So I think that had you said the original 60s version, I would agree with you with, I believe, Dudley Moore. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember who was in the 60s version, but I would agree with you. I don't like the remake. I don't. Maybe that's just me. I'm not a Brandon Fraser fan, so that's probably part of it. It's not my thing. I think there are some funny moments, but not really. I don't like this one.
I'm a little bit in the same boat as Little Boat.
Same boat as Little Boat.
Yeah, there you go.
It's okay. It just means you're both wrong. It's fine.
Remember this movie? I guess I did that. Like, I just don't remember anything from it, and I never had any desire to go back and watch it again. I remember it's basically like the monkey's paw idea, where it's or like you said, the original, where it's just you get 7 wishes, and they all turn out bad for you. Like I get it. I don't know. To be honest, it was like a little bit tired, and it didn't work totally for me. But yeah, I get it, and it definitely, I would say, deserves to be on an underrated.
Well, I mean,
not like
if I would probably have seen it now, like for the first time, I might have not enjoyed it as much. But since when I saw it when I was a kid, like I was a teenager when I first saw this movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
it's fair.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You don't have to justify your list. It's on your list.
I know.
Indeed.
My number 6 is a movie that I didn't know I was gonna put at my number 6, but since What We Do in the Shadows was accepted, my number 6 is In Bruges.
Ooh.
In Bruges. And this is starring Colin Farrell and God damn it. Fuck is that?
Ray Fiennes,
Ray Fiennes, Brendan
Ray
Gleeson.
Fiennes plays the villain. Goodman? No.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, Gleeson. Yeah,
He's the other main character.
This movie is I believe we had a movie, one of you guys had a movie that was foreign. This I think is the only one I have on my list that's from another country, set in there, the language, actors. This thing was just nonstop funny as hell. And when it came out, it was a dud. It got cult following, buzzing. I first heard about this movie maybe 12 years ago. Man, when I seen this movie, I could not stop cracking up. It has so much serious tone to it, but everything these guys were saying was just funny as fuck. Like you just couldn't stop laughing. The midget, the blank bullet, everything was just wild. It was at a time when movies from overseas were getting popularity. Like Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels, Snatch, this.
This was way after that.
There was a lot of momentum where it's like, oh shit, like there's something different. that's funny as hell. And to me, this was just super funny, and it was always had a serious tone, but it was just funny as hell. You just laughed and just kept laughing. So that's why my number 6 is In Bruges from 2008.
I've never seen it. Like, I rarely see other country movies just because of subtitles. Like, there are a few occasions where I really enjoy it.
This isn't subtitled.
Like the
It's in English. They're all just British
okay.
actors.
I just
they're
never
all
seen it.
Irish.
Like my favorite out of country movies, but it's not a comedy. Was Night Watch, Day Watch.
Oh,
I really got into that.
It's
But
a really good movie.
I'll check it out. Like,
this one, it's really good. It's not as like flat out of a comedy. It's a dark comedy. It's about like a hitman who wants to quit.
It's still a comedy. It's dark comedy.
Yeah, dark comedy for sure. It's freaking hilarious, dude. Ray Fiennes as like the head guy, the guy in charge of the hitmen, that like Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell, assuming the other people too, is freaking hilarious when he goes on that like freaking rant, like screaming and yelling and like
At his wife?
calling his yeah. And then he's like, just goes back to the phone, like, yeah, it's just everything's fine. Dude, Ray Fiennes was like a show stealer for me. He was hilarious. I love that. You mentioned the when they were just messed up and talking to the dwarf was also hilarious. I really enjoyed this movie. I went back and saw this in theaters. I want to say 3 times when I saw it. I feel like it did a little bit become like a cult classic. But again, it's kind of like Grandma's Boy, where it just totally dropped off of the radar again. I haven't talked about that movie in years probably, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love this movie. I love this movie. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's amazing. Thing is, I think I do hear people still talk about it. I think it has become a cult classic. I don't know. I think a lot of people do talk about this movie and have discovered this movie. That's just me. I'm not going to say that it shouldn't be on your list, but for me, that's why it wouldn't have made my list.
Yeah, I thought about putting In Bruges on my list, but then I also kind of was like, well, cult classic, is it underrated? But yeah, I think it's a valid pick, and it's great movies that. I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think enough people talk about it.
All right. That was our number 6s. We're going to go now. We're down to our top 5.
Well, I never said my 6.
Oh, that's right. Because Caleb fell out.
I got my, I had tech difficulties. So my number 6 is a movie from the 40s.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And my number 6 is a movie from the 40s. With Cary Grant. It's called Arsenic and Old Lace.
Nope. That's not an underrated film. That is an all-time classic. That shit is funny.
Dude, that's underrated. I've talked to people in this group, and they've been like, I have no idea what that movie is.
I wrote a question to this. I love this film. This is one of his best films. But all right,
this movie's amazing.
You're right, Caleb. I forgot your stature, man. You know your films. This is go ahead, brother. Talk about it.
Yeah, I own this movie on DVD. I love it. I discovered it because if you guys don't know, I'm a theater kid. So we were planning on doing this movie as a play. We ended up not doing it, but I watched it because I was like, oh, this might be good because it's based on a play. And I loved it so much. It's such a funny movie. You've got, Cary Grant kind of being the normal person, but he's slowly kind of going a little bit crazy. It might be my favorite Cary Grant performance. He's just going everywhere. And you've got all these hilarious side characters. So the plot is basically these 2 old women are euthanizing old men who are lonely. Because they think it's being kind. It's really dark for a movie, and it gets that's the bar. Cary Grant's brother shows up, and he has another brother who thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt. It's so crazy. It's hilarious. I love it so much.
Dude, absolutely. Friggin' the Boris Karloff parts too, where like he's had the surgery and everybody thinks that he looks like Boris Karloff from Frankenstein, and it is Boris Karloff. His partner, the doctor.
Peter Lorre.
Yeah, Peter Lorre. Yeah,
Peter Lorre.
Hilarious.
So good.
In that movie. You don't think such a good idea? Dude, the aunts are hysterical. Even the who is it? Is it? I'm trying to think of who is Cary Grant's like fiance is.
I don't remember her name.
I don't recall, but that relationship was also hilarious. The hijinks that like they lived right across the cemetery, and her dad was the preacher. Just all of it. It just all came together so well to like be an amazing freaking movie. And I actually discovered this movie too from I did like the sets and props and stuff for the play in high school. So yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, great movie, great freaking pick. Everybody needs to see this movie.
Yeah, this was an amazing fucking movie. I love this movie. It's one of the best classics, dark comedies. Like Caleb Little Boat said, that this movie holds up, man. You can watch this today and laugh your ass off. I think it's one of the best, man. So, Richard, you
I'm a little embarrassed as someone who got his degree in theater. I've only seen 2 Cary Grant films, and that was not one of them.
Yeah, this movie is really funny, man. This shit is like it lands today. Like these jokes land today, and you'll laugh. And
Absolutely,
it's a thrilling story. Like you captivated the whole time. All right, so now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I believe at number 5. Number 5. So we're gonna go to. You know what? Let's go to Little Boat. What you got, number 5?
Oh, okay. We're going to me again. At number 5, I got another Woody Allen movie. So I know Caleb's not going to be happy. It's another one with Mia Farrow. It's Broadway Danny Rose. All right. So basically, the plot is that Woody Allen is this talent manager for this like overweight lounge singer who's just washed up. He's not popular, but he's like slowly starting to become popular again. It's weird. Anyway, he's got this like, girlfriend on the side of his wife, and he really needs Woody Allen to like bring her there. The problem is this woman is also dating a mafia guy. So, like, they think that Woody Allen is dating her when he goes to bring her. So, like, they're trying to kill Woody Allen, and it just gets so out of hand. Mia Farrow is very, very funny in this movie. I think she's hilarious. The lounge singer, Woody Allen's kind of just doing his Woody Allen thing, but he gets some good one-liners in this movie. I think this movie's hilarious.
All right. Richard, have you seen this film? Any thoughts?
I have not seen it.
All right, Caleb?
I definitely think it fits as an underrated one because I didn't remember what movie it was until he was talking about it. I don't like Woody Allen movies. I've said it before. I just don't like Woody Allen as an actor. Like not even as a person. Just like I've never enjoyed his like sniveling little like stuff. I vaguely remember this movie once Caleb said about that Mia Farrow was dating the mob boss, and they thought that Woody Allen was dating her. So I remember the movie vaguely. It's it is what it is. It's not for me, but if you like Woody Allen movies, go see it.
All right. Richard, you're number 5. We're gonna.
All right. Well, actually,
hey, Caleb, can you turn your volume down just a bit?
Oh yeah, sorry, am I getting some echo? Sorry.
yeah. Actually, I just changed my number 5 to the very last minute. Oh, is it me that has the echo?
No, it's Caleb.
It was me.
Okay.
You're still echoing a bit.
I'm still
All right.
echoing.
Everybody
Let me
is.
just wait.
How's it now?
All right.
There, that's better. That's a lot
It's
better.
better. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's this movie has gone a lot popular now, but it wasn't at the time, and now it's kind of like slowly whittling. Echo. It's whittling down now, and it is Luke Wilson's Idiocracy.
Oh,
It predicted the future, basically, and
It
it's
really
still
did.
a funny movie. And I mean, Luke Wilson was hysterical in that. Maya Rudolph was
Terry Crews.
really hysterical. Terry Crews was amazing. Yeah, you had a huge cast. You had Justin Long in it.
Oh.
You had it was a pretty decent cast, and it was really funny. So that's all I gotta say. Idiocracy.
On the next episode of Ow, My Balls.
It gives you electrolytes. It's what they crave.
Is what they crave. Oh yes, that movie is so good. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I don't know. All these movies that we've listed have been, except for the Woody Allen movies, have been freaking awesome movies, and I don't know how I freaking forgot them. Idiocracy was a fantastic movie, though. I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times, and it never gets old. It's still freaking Dax Shepard also in it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really enjoyed that movie. And like you said, it kind of predicted the future of just like how stupid things have gotten. And it was that in that movie. And it's still funny though. It's even funnier because it's true, kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This movie was a sleeper hit to me because you didn't hear no buzz about it. Back when I first seen it, you had to rent it. You're like, oh shit, rent it. And it was.
Yeah, I got it from Blockbuster. That's where I first heard about it.
It was funny. It was stupid funny. Stupid funny. The wrestling president type of shit. It was different. It was different and it was good. But yeah, it's not on my.
Mike Judge made that movie too. It's a Mike Judge movie. The guy who made Office Space and Beavis and Butthead. Like,
yeah. Had I, this one, I don't know why I didn't put this one on my list. This one just escaped me. It probably would have made my list had I remembered it. This is hilarious. I love this movie.
About it.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah, dude.
Well, all right, we're going number 5 to mashed potatoes.
Me?
What's
Okay,
number 5?
Cool. My number 5, I don't know. This is kind of tough. This is one of those ones where it's like, is it underrated? Is it a cult classic? I don't know. I think it's one of the funniest things that Danny McBride ever did. And it's also like freaking had an amazing cast. The entire Lonely Island. It is Andy Samberg's first movie, I believe. I'm talking, of course, about Hot Rod. Hot Rod, the world's premier freaking daredevil, doing stunts on his moped, always getting injured. It's freaking hilarious.
Cool
from
beans.
start to finish. Cool beans! Cool beans. Beans. Yeah, dude. Everything about that movie is freaking fantastic. You got Bill Hader, you got Danny McBride, you got Jorma Taccone, and Andy Samberg, and Isla Fisher is the love interest. Chris Parnell is like the radio announcer who sponsors his big stunt at the end. It's just like the cast goes on and on of like just comedy gold, and it's so funny. The freaking punch dancing scene where like he just parodies like every single freaking 80s dance movie ever. It's freaking hilarious. The part when they're driving, they have to drive Bill Hader to the hospital because he was sitting in his shop one day, and then like he was just messing with his belt sander, and a hunk of metal like skewers his freaking head, and he's just like they're talking in slow motion and shit. It's freaking hilarious, dude. Everything. Danny McBride like freaking out on the dude. Like in his own house, starts like beating him with a traffic cone because they ran into dude's van. There's just so much funny crap about that movie. I love Hot Rod. Go see Hot Rod.
All right, Little Boat. What do you think about this?
I'll admit, I have not seen this one. I've heard it's great. I haven't actually seen it. I think it is underrated because I think I'll qualify it as underrated because like I don't hear a lot of people talk about this movie. Like I hear somebody mention it here and there, but I think like it's more underrated than like What We Do in the Shadows and in Bruges, which I hear people talk about a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's for sure underrated. Like it was one of those movies where people saw the trailer and they're like, "No, I'm not going to go see this. This looks dumb as hell." But when you actually do see it, it's like it's a lot better than what you thought it was going to be from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree, it's a very underrated film. It's hysterical.
Oh, also, Ian McShane is his dad, and the friggin' epic fight at the end when they're just like beating the crap out of each other, like breaking down walls, and they like friggin' he spears Ian McShane like through a fence into the neighbor's yard. And like, and the final move he does is like this like weird like Tai Chi move that like kind of like the Five Fingers of Death, but like it just makes his dad crap his pants because that's all he ever wanted was to be able to like beat the crap out of his dad and make him crap his pants. Oh, it's so good. Everything about that movie is hilarious. Like Lil Boat, go see that movie. Put it on your list. Of all the movies I've talked about, go see that one.
All right, that's an interesting one. You know, I didn't put this on my list because it kind of reminded me of a lot of other movies from that from those years where they were like, yeah, there were comedies, you know. But my number 5 is a film from 2007 called Meet Bill, starring Aaron Eckhart, and we have Elizabeth Banks playing his wife. We had Jessica Alba in the movie playing. She got hired by Logan Lemire. He was the kid that was in school. It just had a big cast of people. Timothy Oliphant was in the movie. They had a lot of shit going on. Kristen Wiig was in this, and so was Jason Sudeikis. And little cameos. This movie, when I looked it up, it was classified as a drama romance, but this shit was funny as hell. You know, it just. If you watch the movie, you'll see why it's funny. You know, you'll laugh. Aaron Eckhart, I think this was one of his best performances. You know, he was a little overweight, and you know he got back in shape during the film. You know, it was just like it was about a guy basically that wasn't happy with his life and wanted to change it. You know, and he went about a way to change it, and it's really funny as hell. You know, he smokes weed with the little kid from school. He works at a bank. And Logan Lemire is like his kind of like he was mentoring the kid. And there was just so many shenanigans, and it was funny as hell. I encourage everybody to see this film. And it's from 2007, and it's called Meet Bill.
Nice.
Yeah, like I'm surprised I never heard of it. Like I'm thinking about it, like I think like one of the last few movies I saw Jessica Alba in was like Good Luck Chuck.
Little fuckers.
Yeah, I might have to. I definitely need to check it out.
Yeah, I've only vaguely heard of this movie. Like I'm not super familiar with it, so yeah, I should watch it.
Yeah, I think you across the board. I think you've freaking stumped us, dude. I've never seen this movie. I just Googled it. I've seen the cover. I've seen it in like Blockbusters or whatever right before they closed like their had a bunch of copies of this movie, and I never got it. But I never watched this movie. That's a big one, man. I don't know how I didn't. Like just the cast would get me in: Elizabeth Banks, Kristen Wiig, Timothy Olyphant, Jason Sudeikis, freaking Logan Lerman, Aaron Eckhart, Jessica Alba. I don't know how this fell through the gaps for me, man. That's a good pick. I'm gonna definitely check it out.
Yeah, man. For my number 5, man, underrated comedy, Meet Bill from 2007. I believe we all went through our number 5s.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So now we're down to number 4. Let's start with mashed potatoes. Your number 4.
Okay. My number 4 is one I'm sure a lot of people may have heard of. I don't know how many people saw it, but it's one that I recently revisited, and it's based on one of my favorite books. It's a freaking hilarious book. That's, of course, the Martin Freeman, Zooey Deschanel, Sam Rockwell, and Mos Def starring film, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Nothing.
All right. Oh, okay. Dang. All right. So it's the story of an Englishman who's having basically the worst day ever. He wakes up to find that the city is going to demolish his house to make room for an interstate highway, and then things get worse. His friend, played by Mos Def, who turns out to be an alien and not from Derbyshire, I think. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Tells him basically, hey, grab your towel. We got to get out of here because your planet's getting destroyed. We've got 4 minutes. Friggin', they hitch a ride on an alien ship. Earth is destroyed. He's the last human. And then they just, like, basically they're trying to survive. Well, yeah. Moving on. Yeah, but, yeah, so then, like, they have a bunch of misadventures. It's all freaking zany and awesome. Zooey Deschanel is in it. She's also was kind of abducted, but kind of chose to go with this alien guy and have adventures. Dude, there's just like so much pop culture that is influenced by this story, and the movie was so good. And I don't remember it doing well in theaters. I don't think it did well in the box offices or with like critics. But I absolutely love this movie. Freaking So Long and Thanks for All the Fish is such a like a freaking hilarious song, and they just like kick it off with this like epic, like the dolphins are leaving Earth, and they do this like operatic like So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. It's everything about not everything about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is great because the book is better, obviously, but it's a fantastic movie. It's a fantastic story. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Go watch it. Martin Freeman before he was huge. Zooey Deschanel before she was huge-ish. Yeah.
Sam Rockwell. Yeah, this movie is really underrated. Mos Def. This was when he was actually doing a lot of movies, you know.
Yeah.
He did
the Italian Job around then.
Be Kind, Rewind.
Yeah.
You know, this was a couple like this dude was doing movies, and this one was a sleeper sci-fi cult classic. It was based on books. Yeah, this was it came and went, but if you watch this film, it is funny. It is really funny that a lot of people don't remember, and a lot of these people were just up and comers at that time, and then they broke out after that. They all pretty much broke out after that, and yeah, this was one that people definitely should have watched. If they like sci-fi and they like weird humor, this is a perfect underrated comedy.
Yeah. Also, Alan Rickman as a manically depressed robot is hilarious. Just like whenever they like ask him for advice or anything, he's like, I know what I'd do, but you wouldn't like it anyways, so I'll just be over here. He's like the most passive aggressive ever. Like, I mean, think of Professor Snape, but if he was like less angry and more sad, and then he was a big robot. Yeah, freaking great movie.
Richard, you seen this?
I've seen this movie. It was okay for me. It wasn't one of my favorites. It was one of those things where it's like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like my cup of tea kind of humor. It was one of those things where like it wasn't for like it was. There was a lot of things that were similar at the time, or close to it. That like it just wasn't my type of humor.
Yeah, I've heard that this movie is really good. Or, I'm sorry, I've heard that this movie isn't really good. So that's why I haven't watched it. But because of your guys' recommendation, I might watch it since it's on Netflix. So I might check it out. I've seen, I've heard about it, and I've seen the trailer, the one where it's just a shot of the Earth, and the Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World" is playing, and then the world blows up, and then it's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy coming 2005.
Big letters, don't panic.
Oh yeah, don't panic. Yeah, that's right. So that trailer alone made me want to see the movie. So I've like had it on my Netflix list for a while. I've been a little hesitant to watch it, but I'll probably watch it sometime soon because of your guys' recommendation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, let's go to Little Boat. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is one that Caleb brought up earlier. It's The Great Buck Howard. I love this movie. It's Colin Hanks, is a assistant to an illusionist. He clarifies he's not a magician, he's an illusionist. That's what who is very eccentric and very, a little OCD about some things and kind of crazy. And John Malkovich is amazing. He plays Buck Howard. And he's like, I'm not a magician, I'm an illusionist, kind of like Joe Bluth in Arrested Development. They're not tricks, they're illusions, Dad. You don't have time for my illusions. But anyway, John Malkovich is great. He's like just so obsessive, and you kind of follow them as like he gets like his resurgence of popularity, and it's very funny. Steve Zahn has like a role as like a super fan of Buck Howard. He's very funny. You have Adam Scott is in there. Tom Hanks plays the father of Colin Hanks. I love this movie so much. It was probably like one of, if not the first, like indie movie I ever saw. Like I love this movie. So and this was back on like Netflix streaming, like way back in 2008, which is where I first saw it, like in the early days of Netflix streaming. Wow. So yeah, I like this movie.
All right, Mashed Potatoes, you had this on your list.
Yeah. Sorry. This movie is amazing. Little gem at Hollywood Video or whatever it was, where it was just like, wait a minute, this is John Malkovich, and like I saw that Tom Hanks produced it, I believe. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I had one of those like, oh yeah, you can rent as many movies as you want as long as you bring them back kind of deal. Like Netflix before Netflix was a thing. Mm-hmm. Or before they were at least streaming, whatever. I absolutely fell in love with this movie. John Malkovich is so simultaneously like lovable and just like the worst human being ever in this movie. He's just like terrible to Colin Hanks. I said it in the chat yesterday. But anybody who's not in the chat, this is the first movie where I really like stood up and was like, "Oh my God, Colin Hanks is like a really good actor." Like it was kind of like blew my mind. Like, oh wait, there's And it was also like, you know, him and his dad together were in this movie. It was just a quick scene, but Tom Hanks was also in it. It just like that kind of tickled me. I always enjoyed it. Another just like little side note, the guy who wrote and directed it, Sean McGinley, he actually was an assistant for the amazing Kreskin, who was a mentalist, illusionist, whatever you want to call him. You know, famous for, you know, being able to find the money. He famously he would take the money that he made from the door, and he'd give it to someone and say, hide this. And I'm going to be back here. I won't be able to see, and I'm going to find it. And that was literally what was like, that was his big show-stopping move, was that like just from reading The Crown, he'd find that money. And they do that scene so amazingly. With Buck Howard is so phenomenal, and the way that it's written, that like Colin Hanks is talking about it, like it doesn't matter if it was magic, it doesn't matter if it was real. It was real right then. It was real in that room to me right then, and that's what made it so special. Was just like heart-wrenching at the same time as being like freaking hilarious, because John Malkovich was just giving an insane performance that whole scene. It's a great movie. You should see it. It's funny. It's heartwarming, and it's cool, especially if you're into like magic and magic history.
All right.
Hey, wait. Oh, Richard, go ahead. But I'm gonna go get my headphones so that we don't have all these tech difficulties.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I will be right back.
All right, Richard.
No, I also enjoyed that movie. It's one of those things where I always forget, like Colin Hanks to me, like I always forget about him. Like occasionally I'll see him pop up in movies. Like I've seen him like when he was on Dexter for a season. I saw him in Jumanji. Like he's one of those people like he's like a good actor, but he's so forgettable. And it's weird because of his dad.
Oh, he's like a
like
character
I get
actor.
him
He just,
and
like,
Adam Brody
disappears.
sometimes confused.
That's
Yeah, like I
accurate.
get him and Adam Brody confused.
All right.
And no, it was a very enjoyable movie. I just like Colin Hanks, like never like I always forget about him. Same thing with like Greg Kinnear. Like he's like a Greg Kinnear. Like he's kind of known, but he's not well known.
All right. Then we're going to Richard's number 4. What do you got, brother?
My number 4 involves, it was early 2000s, and this movie, I believe it's low-key because like it was kind of similar to a movie that came out before it, but I believe that this movie not only was on par with the other movie, but it was even better, and it had one of my favorite Matt Damon cameos of all times and favorite song of all time, and that is Eurotrip, the movie.
Yeah.
The movie Eurotrip.
Nice.
That was a classic, funny movie that Scotty doesn't know because Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go, so she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know. That
Scotty
song
doesn't
alone
know.
makes the whole movie. I absolutely love
Don't tell
Eurotrip.
Scotty.
And not only do I think it's as good as Road Trip, I believe it's even better than Road Trip.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Holy shit.
Like,
Number
just-
4.
And that's
Go ahead.
I'll get to your guys' opinions on this movie.
All right. We got number 4 from Richard, and that is Eurotrip. You guys' thoughts?
Um,
Or
Go ahead.
Caleb, you go
Go
ahead
ahead.
this time.
All right, cool. This movie is absolutely just like bonkers, like nuts. I enjoy the movie. The use of Scotty Doesn't Know throughout the film is just hilarious. How like everybody's singing that song. Everybody's freaking singing that song, like relentlessly, and just all of it is so much fun. Michelle Trachtenberg, it got so hot. She grew up and was like, oh, why? What happened? Like the freaking the dominatrix scene when he goes to the brothel and is like, yeah, I want
Lucy
to-
Lawless was so
Lucy
funny on that.
Lawless, isn't it? Oh man, Definitely underrated. It did kind of start that like Matt Damon cameos where he just like sneak into a movie and do something funny for like a minute, and then that was it. Also, I've covered "Scotty Doesn't Know" a few times. It's a freaking fantastic song. Also, freaking Lana Lang from Smallville was Fiona. Was
Fiona.
freaking hilarious too. Vinnie Jones is in it. Lucy Lawless. Fred Armisen's in it. It's such a funny movie, and I agree. Like, I actually like it better than Road Trip. Also, I really enjoyed this movie, and people hated it when it came out. There was like so much like critical like hate for this movie. Like, I don't even know what the tomato meter is, but I remember like everybody like talking shit about it, and then I finally saw it and was like, oh, why did people hate this so much? I love this movie.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie, but the song Scotty Doesn't Know is an absolute classic. And I don't care how bad this movie is. If it is the movie that brought us Scotty Doesn't Know, I don't care. You could attach Scotty Doesn't Know to The Room, and it would be the greatest movie of all time. Like,
Luna says she's out shopping, but she's on her knees and I'm
Scotty
not
doesn't
stopping.
Yep.
I did her on his birthday.
But I did.
And that was Matt Damon singing that too.
Yeah.
is the great thing.
It was this was a sleeper. I didn't have this on my list. When I watched it for the first time, I was like, holy shit, this thing was funny. The song was catchy. But yeah, I forgot about it. But this is definitely an underrated film. And to have it, and for you to have it at number 4, showing that it's big time and it's a big time film. All right, I believe all you guys did.
Yeah,
number 4,
it's a 47 on Rotten Tomatoes. I just looked it up. Ridiculous.
Boo.
That's ridiculous.
All right, my number 4 is one that I believe somebody else had before. I think it was Little Boat, and that was Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Okay.
I think, right? Little Boat, you had this, right?
yep, I had this one. You go ahead first, but I love this movie.
Yo, this movie was funny as fuck, bro. The first time I seen this shit, I was dying laughing. You had Pam from The Office. I believe it was like her first role. His actual wife at the time, was that Kristen Wiig again? No, it wasn't. It was the other French chick. This movie was just funny as hell. The songs were catchy. That's what I remember. Every song. I wrote questions about this movie. I could easily write like 200 questions because of this movie, because I love this movie so much. It just was like joke after joke. Sometimes, it was like, but the songs were just great, man. When he was just going through his shit, sound like other people, the midget song. He had and then his death, the day Dewey Cox died. Every time he went to go taste drugs, this movie was just funny as shit. And it was a play. It was a play on fucking Cash's
Walk
Life.
the Line.
Yeah, it was a play on Walk the Line, but it did it. It didn't do it disrespect. Like never when I seen it was like, oh, this is tasteless. This is classless. This movie was funny as hell. Some of the shit was absurd, because it took place in 2007. So some of the scenes were kind of like, all right, it's not really realistic, but yeah, it's stupid comedy. But this shit was funny as hell, man, and I love this movie. I believe I have 3 songs downloaded from this movie, man. The day Dewey Cox died, I got that shit on my thing. I can play right now, man. I love playing that song. It just jams.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, I think this movie's hilarious. I think, part of the reason why there's some, kind of ridiculous, unrealistic elements like Jonah Hill coming back as the ghost of the dead brother is because it's a spoof movie. What it is, it's like a direct spoof. What? Yeah, because like it's a direct spoof of Walk the Line. Like, I love the opening scene where you see a young Dewey and his brother, and it's taking quite a few shots like the opening scene of Walk the Line, which I hate the opening scene of Walk the Line because it's like, oh, this is super obvious that this brother is going to die. And that, you know, they're kind of trying. I felt so emotionally manipulated. And like Dewey Cox, that Walk Hard is just making fun of it. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to grow up and be an astronaut. I'm going to do so many things because I've got a long, full life ahead of me. Now let's go play with Dad's machetes. And then when the doctor comes in, it's like, well, this was a particularly bad case of someone being cut in half. And I love Tim Meadows as like the guy who introduces Dewey to all the drugs. You don't want no part of this. It'll turn all your good feelings into bad feelings and all your bad feelings into good feelings, or whatever he says.
I think I do want some of that.
Okay, but just this once.
Yeah. You don't want none of this, Dewey. It's the next. It's cocaine.
It's the next logical step for you.
Step in your progression.
And the wives are played by Kristen Wiig and Jenna Fisher from The Office.
Yeah, Jenna Fisher played. Yeah.
Jenna Fisher plays his second wife.
Yeah, she was singing.
Kristen Wiig is the one who's like, I do believe in you, Dewey. I just know you're going to fail.
And like he's already super popular. Yeah. I just know you're not gonna make it, Dewey.
Yeah.
All right, we've
you take your monkey.
All right, Caleb is mashed potatoes, man. You seem to know this movie as well. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah. I freaking.
Wait, hold on. Let me go because I will at least want to end it on a positive note because I was not a fan of this movie. I did not like it. I prefer Walk the Line so much more, and to me, this is the reason why I didn't like Step Brothers as much. It was one of those like it was way too stupid funny for me. Was not a fan of this movie. It was okay at moments. There were parts that were good, but the most part, it was just like, nah, it's just trying way too hard.
Walk hard.
So, Caleb, I'll let you go now to end it on a happy note with the movie. I don't want to be like the last guy, be like, I didn't like it.
Wow. Dang, that's crazy. I don't know that I've ever met anybody that didn't like Walk Hard. This movie's great. If you ask me, it's funny because it's a super accurate. Excuse me for a second. Accurate spoof of Walk the Line and Johnny Cash's story, while also just being its own thing. It has some great music in it, like he even said, dude, I could listen to Walk Hard like all the time, like a legitimate Johnny Cash song. It's so much fun. Like you said, the music in it is great. The scene with the Beatles, or Justin Long, Jack Black, and who was the other?
Paul Rudd.
Can't remember. Paul Rudd and Jason Schwartzman were the Beatles. Yep. Hey, do you want to do LSD?
What's that?
It was hilarious. Then like he spends like doesn't he spend like an entire month or something on the
trampoline
on LSD. There's so much good stuff in it. He's nose blind. Freaking the wrong kid died. There's just like there's so much good stuff in that movie. I really love it. Almost to the point where like it's not on my list because I'm like, is it really underrated though? But I guess Richard doesn't like it, so there's definitely some people that weren't fans.
Yeah, I picked that one because the same thing Richard was saying. Like, I love both movies. Like, it's a rare type of thing. I know I'm kind of abusing power right now. I'm talking about this one a little longer, but it's one of the rare things because when Johnny Cash died, he had a documentary with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, and that was fucking shit. And then this movie came out, and it's kind of a little spoof, but this one is great as shit, and it has some good ass songs, and that's why I think it's underrated because some people just like this. To me, it was funny, funny as shit. But yeah, that was All right, we're down to our number three. Number three. Let's start with Little Boat. What do you have at number three?
All right, number three, I've got a film directed by Albert Brooks. It was released in 1979. It basically predicted everything that would come to be with reality TV. It's called Real Life. So yeah, basically the plot is that it's a pretty simple plot. A camera crew comes in to just film a family for the next year, like 24/7, and like it just ends up driving the family crazy. Albert Brooks plays a fictionalized version of himself, and he goes so crazy. Like, I don't want to spoil the movie, but the ending made me die laughing. Like, that's the thing. Like, so most people have not even heard of this movie. It is amazingly hilarious, and it predicted like everything that would come to be with reality TV. Like, it feels like this movie was made in like at least the 90s. Like, but it came out in 79. Like, that's the thing. It's like this movie predicted so much about reality TV.
And what was the title and the year again?
Real Life.
Real Life.
1979.
Whoa. All right. Richard, what do you know about this, brother?
I know nothing. I definitely need to check it out. Sounds really interesting.
All right, mashed potatoes.
This is one that I've heard of just like around the spheres, but I've never seen either. That's a big pick. Yeah, I need to see it. That's all there is to it.
One thing I will say
is a gap.
Yeah, I will say it starts out kind of slow, but like it picks up as the movie goes on. It's a little bit of a slow burn as far as comedy. It's more like dominoes slowly knocking over and snowballing. I'm mixing my metaphors here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, this is I gotta be honest, I'm not familiar with this film either, so I'm definitely gonna have to check this one out. Real Life. Yeah, that was a great pick, man. I'm definitely gonna have to watch this now to see what the hype is about. Cool beans. All right,
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go to Richard Schwartz, number three.
Okay, my number three. Like, I really enjoyed this movie. I was excited to see it when they revealed it was going to happen, and then all of a sudden it got delayed. And it's like it got delayed for like years and years and years until finally I saw it on Blu-ray or DVD, and I bought it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but not as much because it's an unfamiliar territory because it involves, Star Wars. But the movie's Fanboys.
Yes. Oh, dang.
And
yes.
It's an absolute classic gem. Like, this movie got delayed for like 3-4 years until it eventually got released, and it just had such a great cast. And you see like people from Star Wars cameos in this movie, and it was just like a thoroughly good time. You had Kristen Bell was in it.
Yeah.
I forgot that one dude's name. He was in Jungle to Jungle, the main dude. The dude who was in Balls of Fury, and he's also in Fantastic Beasts. He was in the movie.
Dave Fogler.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Dave Fogler's in it, and then also I forgot, like I said, the kid from Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen. He was the kid. He's grown up now. He was also Jimmy in Superman Returns.
Yeah,
Jimmy Olsen in Superman Returns.
Dude, I know he's the werewolf from Being Human. I just can't think of his name.
Yeah. Him. And all in all, like, it was such a great, funny movie. Like, they had some classic lines. I mean, Seth Rogen was in this movie too. Sorry, I'm done.
Yes.
No.
Playing a dual role as the Trekkie and as the pimp.
Yeah, William Shatner was in it.
Yeah, Shatner is in it. Friggin' Billy D. Carrie Fisher was in it. Jay Baruchel. Yep. Freaking Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes were in it for a second. As they were the Kevin Smith was pouring out Jay Mewes to the guy at the truck stop. Freaking Ray Park was the head of security.
it was a
just
great
keeps
cast all in
going.
all.
It just keeps
It
going.
was funny
Ethan
from
Smith
beginning to
played
end.
as Henry Knowles. Like, yeah, dude, that scene when he's beating the crap out of them and like quizzing them on Star Wars trivia, basically,
Yeah.
is hilarious. Yeah, dude, that movie's so good. Yeah, everything about that movie.
Nice.
Fantastic pick.
Yeah, that was a fantastic pick for number 3. And now we're going to mashed potatoes. What do you have at number 3, brother?
My number 3, I think I'm going to pull an audible here. And I'm going to switch it out because I was going to say Mallrats because that's...
Caleb, did you like the movie?
Yeah, I actually do like this movie. I love the last line of the movie is made me die laughing. Yeah, what if it sucks?
Yeah.
I love that. I'll admit I haven't actually seen the whole thing. I've seen like in bits and pieces. I need to just sit down and watch the whole thing. It was on at the time, but I didn't sit down to watch all of it. Like I remember the fight with the Star Trek fans. I remember I don't remember a lot of it, so I need to watch it again.
Look, there's 3 rules in the van. There's no jerking in the van. All rush all the time, and never push the red button. I just freaking love that movie.
You must join the dark side. Oh, time out. Okay, sorry, go ahead. All right, sorry, go, Caleb. What's your number 3?
My number 3. I had it as Mallrats. I decided to change it. I'm gonna go with a movie that rings true to anybody that's ever worked in the service industry. It's got an insane cast of people, both like that were huge at the time and that like got huge from it. I love this movie. It's called Waiting.
I knew
2005. Yeah, dude, just like saying the cast is Ryan Reynolds, Justin Long, Anna Faris, Luis Guzman, Shai McBride, Andy Milonakis, John Francis Daly, Dave Koechner, Dane Cook, freaking who else? There's tons of people in it, dude.
Justin Long,
freaking Wendy Malick, Justin Long, just tons and tons of people. Freaking Andy Milonakis and his buddy who like are the bus boys that freaking like smoke in the freezer and they're always like thinking they can rap are freaking hilarious. John Francis Daly, who's like the psychiatrist from Bones, like as really young. I think this is definitely the first time I'd seen him. You know, just being like totally horrified by everything, and then he like never gets to say a word, and then at the very end just has that rant, just like fuck all of you. Then he walks out and he does the goat. Is like so good. Justin Long is it's kind of a weird role for him because up until then, all I'd seen him as was kind of the geeky, nerdy kid who helped out and everything. And this one, he's kind of an a-hole for a lot of the movie, even though he's like harping on Ryan Reynolds for being an a-hole, but he's kind of more of an a-hole. Freaking Luis Guzman and the penis game are some of the funniest crap ever. It's the best thing Dane Cook ever did was the scenes where they're messing with the people's food. Yeah, dude, just so much of it it's freaking hilarious movie. I love this movie.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about putting this on my list, but the reason I did not was because when you were mentioning the cast, I was thinking of other movies that they were better. Like Justin Long, I thought he was better in Accepted. Dan Cook, I thought he was better in Employee of the Month. Like there were Anna Faris. There were other movies that I felt like weren't as like it was. No, the movie was hysterical.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking of comedies, I was thinking of other movies that the other actors done. But like it's such a great choice though. And
yeah, that number 3 was really good, brother. Little Boat, did you say anything about it?
I haven't actually seen this one, so
dude.
Richard,
need to.
Richard, seen this. What else? Sorry,
Huh?
Richard. Anything else to say about this?
I also like the sequel they did. It was like straight to DVD, but I enjoyed it while still waiting, even though I didn't have the main cast. It wasn't as good as the first one, but like I enjoyed both. It was waiting. The penis game was hysterical.
Yeah.
Another reason why, because that movie was super popular at the time.
Yeah,
because everyone was playing the penis game.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
a cult classic. You know, it came. I don't know if this went to theaters or if it did.
It did.
Yeah, it definitely did.
It never made no money in the theaters, but like you started hearing about it, you watched it. It was funny as shit. It was vulgar. You know, it was raunchy. It was funny, nasty. But yeah, it was a good movie, and I didn't put it on my list, man. And that's what's crazy. There's so many good movies.
The goat. Mo.
The goat.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to my number 3 since everybody's done their number 3.
Uh-huh.
All right. My number 3 is a real indie comedy that I enjoy, and I don't think too many people have ever seen it. And it is from 2015, and it's called Don Verdeen, starring Sam Rockwell.
Oh.
Clement is in it. Danny McBride, Amy Ryan, Will Forte. Will Forte plays a church member from a road church, and then fucking Danny McBride has a church with his wife. That used to be a prostitute, in the movie, and it is ridiculous. Some of the shit they say, the dry humor. Sam Rockwell's known as kind of like a guy that like digs out treasures and shit for churches and makes money from them, and it's one of those movies that you got to see it to watch. In the trailer, you could tell it was dry humor, but the cast, one of the ladies in it was from The Office that was in love with, I think the one that Mike Scott got married to at the very end.
Yeah, Amy Ryan.
The chick, yeah, Amy Ryan. This movie, there's one scene right in the trailer, right? When I was watching this, I was like, okay, it looks like a 70s film in the trailer, and that's what got me hooked, And it was like, oh, Don Verdeen, and it's Sam Rockwell. He digs for treasures from the Bible, and they're talking to a press conference, right? And Jamie Clement, they asked Sam Rockwell a question, and then Jamie Clement just goes, "Oh, I think they were trying to clone giant Al Qaeda guys." I don't know. You got to watch the trailer, and it's just so fucking retarded, but it just stuck with me the whole time, and I was laughing my ass off when I heard that line, and it was just this movie is I think people should watch this. Oh, Will Forte, they're at the church, right? And they're having a competition.
Are you talking about the grape nuts scene?
No, not that scene. It's just there's little things in this movie that you have to see and watch these guys do. I'm not going to spoil the scene because I don't want to keep talking about it. But this movie is called Don Verdeen, and it's from 2015, and that is my number 3, my third film.
I have not heard of it. I'm definitely going to check it out.
See, I don't actually like this movie. I like Will Forte a lot. I think he's very funny. I didn't really like this movie, and I was excited for it because I think Jared Hess had made some underrated comedies. I like not underrated, but like good comedies. I loved Napoleon Dynamite. Nacho Libre was okay. Gentlemen Broncos was pretty good. But man, I was disappointed by
All right, you're done now. All right. You're done.
Okay.
Nobody else in this movie. We're gonna shoot right now to number 2. Let's start with Mashed Potatoes. What is your number 2 film?
Oh shit. All right, my number 2 is another movie that we're going back to. I feel like it's probably one of the most forgotten classics of this particular actor/director. It's from 1976. When Mel Brooks had a crazy idea, go ahead and make an entirely silent movie and call it Silent Movie. It's freaking hilarious. It's literally the story of a failing filmmaker who has the brilliant idea, I'm going to make the next blockbuster. I'm going to make the next biggest movie ever. And it's going to be a silent movie. And the studio is like, no, there's no way. Like, what are you talking about? Nobody wants to see a silent movie. And he's like, no, we're going to get the best stars. We're going to save this studio. It's going to be great. It's just insane. It's a totally silent movie. Like I said, it's filled with like insane slapstick humor. It's got such an insane cast that it's like, how did this happen? All right, so the three main characters, it follows Mel Brooks, Marty Feldman, and Dom DeLuise. They're like this filmmaking team, just trying to get this made. Then they're literally like, oh, we're gonna get these people. We're gonna get these people. We're gonna get Burt Reynolds. And then they go to Burt Reynolds' house and they just like harass Burt Reynolds, and it's actually Burt Reynolds in this freaking silent movie, like just harassing him until like he finally does it. They show up in a shower. They do the like giant three men in a trench coat scene, try to walk through and like all this crazy crap. Freaking who else? Liza Minnelli they get, who was like huge at the time, obviously. And again, it's like they snuck on set as knights, and like the whole time they're just trying to get her, like trying to talk to her about how to do it, but really the entire scene is them just like trying to sit down and falling over until she's like finally like, yeah, like okay, fine, I'll do it, fine. James Caan is the next guy that they go to. It's just like there's so much star power, and it's again a totally silent movie. It's all dependent on physical comedy, and it's just hilarious. It's nonstop laughs. Dude, freaking Anne Bancroft is in it. She's hilarious. Sid Caesar's in it. He as the head of the, I can't remember what the other company is that's coming to like shut down their studio. But he's just hilarious. He starts like barking and like foaming at the mouth because he's so mad because they're like actually getting the silent movie pulled off and stuff. It's a crazy movie. It's so good. And I know most people haven't seen it. It's definitely one that like I'd only seen a couple of times. I went back to it just really recently, and it's just nonstop laughs. It's a fantastic movie, and it harkens back to the old days of like, oh yeah, you can make a hilarious movie and not have a single line of dialogue. It's so good.
Yeah, this was a surprise one as your number 2, I believe. This was a good movie. I remember watching it for the first time. It was funny, it was a good pull. I forgot it, I didn't watch it in a long time, but this was a good pull. Let's see if Little Boat seen this.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen it, but I love me some Mel Brooks, and I'm familiar with the movie, and I've been meaning to watch it.
All right, Richard.
I've seen Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Robin Hood, Prince of Men and Tides, but I have not seen this movie, and I definitely need to now.
All right. Then
I've seen so many Mel Brooks, just not that one.
Richard,
Yeah,
what is
it's so worth checking out.
My number 2 is just 2 words. It was as great. It didn't do too well in the theaters, but since the passing of Alan Rickman, I think it gotten a little bit more popular now. It's called Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Rockwell. It was.
I didn't put this on my list because I didn't think it was underrated.
Yeah, same.
It's very underrated. Like, especially in the theaters, it didn't do as well when it first appeared. Like, it got more popular now, but at the time when it was released, it didn't do as well.
Huh.
I don't know. All right. All right. What are your thoughts, Richard?
Go ahead.
I mean, it was a solid, great comedy. I mean, if you guys don't want, I have a second option. Do you want me to switch it? I can switch it.
Yeah, for sure, but just like talk about it.
Oh, I mean, there's been a lot of spoofs of like Star Wars and Star Trek type of thing before, but it was like just hysterically funny. You had such a great cast. You had Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Rockwell. You had Alan Rickman. This is one of the first roles that Rainn Wilson had.
Yep. I was gonna mention.
And I mean, it was just and Justin won the first roles that Justin Long had, and it was just like a nonstop like classic comedy. And I think just because like when Alan Rickman passed away, like a lot of his movies went to Netflix, and Galaxy Quest was one of them, and it got a lot more love. And it was funny and it had a lot of heart.
Oh yeah, this movie was off the fucking chain. It had a lot of stars in it. I love Galaxy Quest. Little Boat. What do you think about it?
Now, real quick. Now, I will say, people in the inner geekdom world, they will have seen this movie, of course. But I'm talking about in the whole, from all around, like people who are not huge on sci-fi, probably not have seen it or remember it.
Here's the thing. I saw this like before Alan Rickman even died, and before I was like super into like all this movie community stuff. So like I had heard people talk about this movie. So I'm not sure it's underrated, but I mean, this is my favorite spoof movie of all time. Like I love this movie. Sam Rockwell's my favorite part, but Tim Allen like is amazing as like the William Shatner-esque character, but Sam Rockwell is the red shirt who thinks he's going to die. I love that so much.
I'm crewman number 2.
Yeah. What is my last name? You don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I love the movie. I'm not sure. It didn't make my list because I don't think it's underrated, but it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't seen this movie, go out and watch it. I definitely wouldn't have ever thought of it as underrated. But maybe we've just been living in this bubble for so long.
Wait, can you put it on the Rotten Tomatoes? Can someone check to see what it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm pretty sure it's very high.
I just looked it up, and right now it's at 90%. It's a totally fresh.
Yeah, it's not underrated. Like everybody knows this movie.
Like all the cast of Star Trek had seen it, and they love it.
It might have been kind of a dud. It probably didn't make its money back, but a lot of people
box office probably not.
Yeah.
Oh, can I change? I can change my answer. I had a tie between that one and another one.
Okay.
Yeah, my number 2 before that was Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure.
Go back to Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest is
okay.
Like if you would have said Bogus Journey, like maybe, but Excellent Adventure is very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So
I'll stick with Galaxy Quest.
I think right now, who are you on?
I haven't given my 2 yet.
We're on the number 2s?
2.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I did mine. Little Boat hasn't.
Okay. My number 2 is another movie from 1979. It stars Alan Arkin and Peter Falk. It had a popular remake. It's called The In-Laws. Well, not popular remake, but it's called The In-Laws.
How's that underrated? It's a classic.
People do not talk about the original The In-Laws, man. I had never heard anybody talk about that movie until I saw it on DVD, like because it came in like this DVD pack. I would
argue that In-Laws are much well known than Galaxy Quest.
I would not argue that. The original with Alan Arkin, no, people do not talk about that movie. I'll even look up the IMDb ratings because less people have seen In-Laws than that. But I mean, it's absolutely yeah. I mean, it's what? I feel like it's underrated because I don't think enough people talk about it. Mm-hmm. But I think the movie is absolutely hilarious. If you don't know, Peter Falk is actually a spy. Alan Arkin is like his son. Peter Falk's son is marrying Alan Arkin's daughter, and they have to like go on this crazy adventure and lots of mishaps. And there are so many funny moments in that movie. Little things that happen where they get Peter Falk is like on the run from some criminals, and it's very funny. Peter Falk and Alan Arkin have this great like banter back and forth. I love that movie so much.
Yes. So I did just look it up, and it's got the exact same score as Galaxy Quest.
Well, I'm not really talking about
It's
score. I'm talking
90%,
about people who
But
have
yeah,
seen it.
lesser known for sure.
Yeah,
No, I get what
because
you're
The
saying.
In-Laws has 6,000 ratings total on IMDb, whereas Galaxy Quest has
Hundreds of thousands at least.
100,000 at least.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's fair. If only 6,000 people gave it a rating, Galaxy Quest has 134,000, whereas In-Laws has 6,000 ratings. So I think it's very fair to call The In-Laws underrated.
No, for sure. I'd actually not heard of this movie, surprisingly.
I've heard of it.
So awesome.
They made a
I need
remake.
to check it out. Like dude, you speaking my language when you're talking to Alan Arkin and Peter Falk. Like, hell yes. Then also I'm looking through it. It's got Richard Libertini and Ed Bagley Jr. in it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
Heck yeah, dude.
Very young Ed Begley.
David Hamer. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Dude, this is so like interesting to me, dude. I need to write this one down for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I need an early Arkin comedy. Thank you. Yes, please.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna go to my number 2 then. Before we get to number ones, my number 2 is from 2009, and that is the film that Little Boat was talking about earlier. He mentioned it. It's Gentlemen Broncos. This film is nobody watched this film. I think it's funny as hell. It is starring.
Real quick, I'll be right back.
And we got Sam Rockwell, but the main star is the kid. It's going to school and shit, and that's Michael Aranganio.
Yeah, it's the kid from Sky High.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a crazy film. He's writing a sci-fi movie or sci-fi books, and Sam Rockwell's a character. So every time the script changes, Sam Rockwell's character changes. Jeremy Clements steals his fucking script. It is funny as hell, and it's
Jermaine Clements. Yeah.
Yeah, Jermaine. Well, yeah. It's
sorry.
but it was just I think this is a funny ass movie that nobody's seen, and I think that's why it's my number 2, because I think this movie is funny as hell. If you watch this movie, it could go stoner film or just crazy, weird, funny film, but that's why this is my number 2. I don't think too many people seen it.
Yeah, this was on my honorable mentions. This movie almost made my list. It didn't. Haven, it's very obvious you like Jared Hess comedies, because he directed Don Verdean. He directed that. Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite. So Jared Hess. I like this. I think this movie's real funny. Jermaine Clements great in it.
Man, this is another one that I somehow I in looking it up, it looks familiar. Like, I've definitely seen the trailer. I don't know how it slipped by me. I love dang, this cast though, and like you said, I'm a fan of Napoleon Dynamite and stuff like that too. So I don't know how a movie with freaking Jermaine Clement, Sam Rockwell, Jennifer Coolidge, Mike White, and Michael Agarano slipped past me. Like, I don't know how I missed this movie. Dude, Clive Reville is in this movie? What the fuck? Dude.
I've never heard of the movie either, so I definitely need to check it out.
Yo, this movie's funny as fuck, man. That's why it's my number 2. This thing is, oh man, it is so cool and it's so weird, and it's just the right amount of everything that makes it funny.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hell yeah.
I'll get him.
All right.
Is that everybody's number 2?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna
do
go.
Want to do honorable mentions if anybody has them? I've got 5.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, that's cool. Let's do that.
Before we do it as number 1. Just because we were talking about it the other night, I've had The Rocker on my just off of my list. Super.
That was what. That was one of my honorable mentions. The Rocker.
Nice, awesome. Super with Rainn Wilson, I thought was super underrated. I enjoyed that movie. MacGruber, another classic. I was debating between this and Animal Crackers. Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman. It's the one when Abbott and Costello meet basically all of the Universal monsters. It's super fun. Another one, Goon, the
Sean William
Scott movie with Jay Baruchel was also another one. I had it on the list and I took it off. I had it. And the last one I had on there is Kevin Smith's Tusk. It's a slow burn, but at that end, man, it was so worth it. I laughed my balls off at that movie.
All right, let's go to Little Boat. What are your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I've got like two like big ones that are like my honorable mentions, and that's one is a Tim Robbins acted, wrote, directed 1992's Bob Roberts. It's a political comedy. Mm-hmm. At the time, it was a ridiculous satire. Not so much now, but yeah, it's like it's kind of eerily fascinating how many little things this movie actually predicted. Like it's the politician has a feud with a Saturday Night Live-esque show. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, but it's a really good movie. It's presented in a mockumentary format. It's got a huge cast: James Spader, Jack Black, Alan Rickman, and another one is a dramatic comedy called "Don't Think Twice" with Keegan-Michael Key and Jillian Jacobs. I didn't think it was like funny enough to put on this list, but it's an amazing film.
It's also written and directed by Mike Birbiglia.
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic movie.
All right, let's go to Richard. What do you have?
Okay, well, I had 6 honorable mentions. One of them Caleb mentioned, which was The Rocker. I also had The Girl Next Door.
Girl Next Door.
I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah,
it was the one, you know.
Timothy Olyphant was in there.
Yeah. I can't think of
the
her
girl
name
from
now.
24, wasn't it?
Yeah, the daughter from 24.
And then I had Fright Claus. I thought that was a funny movie.
You mean
but
Fred
like,
Claus?
Yeah, Fright Claus with Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
I had Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
All right.
Michael Cera,
Interesting.
Kat Dennings movie. I had Accepted, which was a comedy that I loved with Justin Long, Jonah Hill. And then another one that was a Disney Channel movie, or it was a Disney movie, but I enjoyed it a lot. It had Will Friedle, the guy who played Eric Matthews and Martin Lawrence. Matthew Lawrence. It was called H-E Double Hockey Sticks. It was a hockey movie.
That one.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Basically, Will Friedel's character is like he's kind of like he works in hell. And he wants to trade Martin. He wants Martin Lawrence's soul to be a better hockey player. It's hysterical.
All right, cool.
So those are my honorable mentions.
All right, I have 3 honorable mentions because a lot of films. Some people mentioned earlier, like some of the films they mentioned in their list. It was like run of the day average film for that year or those years for comedies, but I have What We Do in the Shadows from 2014, and I have Year One starring Jack Black and that fucking kid from Juno.
Michael Cera. I enjoyed that movie too.
My third film is Cabin Boy from 1994.
The Tom Green movie?
No,
that wasn't Tom Green. That was the other guy. Chris Elliott. Chris Elliott. Yeah.
So disrespectful, Tom Green. No, Cabin Boy is. I think it's one of those movies that people should watch and be like, "Holy shit!" Like this. That was kind of ahead of his time. To me, anyway. That always stuck with me as a funny comedy, weird as hell, but funny as hell. Like some of the movies, it's they had plots and things like that. So it was like you wait for jokes, but some like Cabin Boy, What We Do in the Shadows, Year One. They try to. Well, Year One was that to me. Nobody really liked it. but these were the
I
ones
enjoyed
had.
it. I enjoyed it.
I actually feel like Year One gets like a really bad rep because of like the stars. I think David Cross and Paul Rudd were freaking hilarious in it. Why am I freaking blanking on his name?
Olivia Wilde was really good in that.
Oh yeah, Olivia Wilde's in it. Harold Ramis as Abraham is freaking hilarious.
And he directed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It was his
yeah,
last film that he
that's
directed.
unfortunate. But
But it's-
there was a lot of good in Year
Then
One.
some-
I really enjoyed it.
McLovin was in the film.
Yep.
Yeah.
My twin.
He's-
All right, well,
All
that's
right.
if I'm not mistaken, that's all our honorable mentions.
Yep.
Now
Number
we are
one.
to number one. All right, let's do the honors. Richard Schwartz, what is your number one underrated
Okay.
comedy?
My number one is a movie that I know for a fact is underrated. No one ever talks about this movie. It was really funny, but it wasn't over the top funny. And it's still today my favorite Will Ferrell movie, and it's called Stranger Than Fiction.
Mm.
The cast is amazing in this. It has Will Ferrell, Dustin Hoffman, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Queen Latifah. And it's about it's about Will Ferrell's character. You know, he lives a boring life, and all of a sudden he starts hearing a voice in his head or coming from around, and finds out it's the narrator, which is Emma Thompson's character. She's writing a novel, a book, and Will finds out that he is a character in a novel, and all his life is predestined. And Emma Thompson wants to kill off his character, and he hears that, and he's trying to avoid getting killed. And he meets Maggie Gyllenhaal's character, and it's just a lovable. It's so funny. Has so much heart. It's one of those movies where like Will Ferrell always does these over the top, like Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, Anchorman. This one, he's not over the top funny, but he's so funny, trying to be. He's so funny, and like this proves like he can actually act. Like it was a good performance by him. I think it's one of my favorite comedies. I've seen it like 25 times already.
Nice.
True. You guys' thoughts on number one?
Yeah,
Richard.
Yeah, so the thing is, Stranger Than Fiction, I have not seen this movie, but the funny thing is, I was planning on watching it tonight. Like, after this, I was legit planning on watching this movie. So it probably would have made my list had I seen it. But, I was legit planning on watching this tonight.
You can still watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, I am planning on watching it tonight, but it probably would have made my list had I watched it a little earlier.
Right.
Right,
Yeah, this is actually an exceptional movie. To me, it's not so much of like a haha funny laugh a minute kind of. It's a pretty dramatic role for Will Ferrell actually.
It's a dark comedy.
Yeah, 100%. It's an exceptionally well written and acted movie though. The performances are fantastic. I think like the majority of the comedy is surprisingly actually comes from Emma Thompson and Maggie Gyllenhaal, whereas or the people he works with too, because he's an auditor for the IRS, I believe.
No, there's a lot of funny things that Will Ferrell does, but go on. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, there's funny stuff that he does, but I think the majority of the comedy of the movie happens with everybody around him while he's just kind of reacting to it. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic movie. I don't know. I kind of would have put this in like a dramedy category or something. I don't know. It just totally slipped my mind as a comedy. But I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Definitely my favorite Will Ferrell movie.
It's a good Will Ferrell movie, but I don't think of this movie as comedy at all. I think it's a drama. You know.
No, it's considered more of a comedy than drama.
I don't think that's what it's written on the back of the DVD, brother.
No, it's comedy, I think.
Nope.
I mean, that's just.
To me, it's just it doesn't register as a comedy. I have to double check to see what the actual title is. But it's a great film. But to me, it just doesn't register as a comedy. Like if you're gonna hang out with your boys and be like, all right, or friends and stuff, like, all right, let's laugh. I'm gonna throw this movie in. You know. But all
So
right.
I googled it and it says drama fantasy comedy, but like yes. So I mean,
Yeah. That's true.
all of the above. But
Has
yeah,
the word
it's
comedy.
great movie though, for sure.
Yeah, it's super underrated, but yeah, all right. Let's see what Little Boat has for number one.
My number one is another Albert Brooks directed film.
Oh damn.
It is Defending Your Life. Okay. So this
year?
What?
What year?
This came out 1991. Directed by Albert Brooks, starring Meryl Streep, Rip Torn. Basically, the premise is, it's kind of simple. It's, a guy dies and goes to heaven, and he's essentially got to defend his choices, or if he doesn't, then he gets reincarnated again, has to try again. But if he doesn't, then he gets to move on and kind of prove that he, did the right things, made the right choices. And it's really fascinating. There are very funny moments. Rip Torn plays his lawyer, and he's very funny in it. Lots of little reference, kind of the precursor to the TV show The Good Place. Lots of just funny little things in how they design heaven. And I can't say enough. It's like Willy Wonka meets It's a Wonderful Life meets The Good Place. Like it's just, I love that movie.
Nice. Well, damn. You're just like throwing all these Albert Brooks movies at me, and I have not seen them. That's unfortunate for me. Dude, everything you just said sounds awesome, though. I really enjoy The Good Place. I really enjoy Rip Torn. I enjoy freaking
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Like, geez, dude. Yeah. Damn it. That's a good one. All right, so Defending Your Life and Real Life. Who'da thunk? Two Albert Brooks movies. They both have life in the title.
Richard, you seen this?
Writing those down.
I have not, but I definitely need to. If it's Caleb's number one, I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, same here. I vaguely remember this, but I can't think of too much about it right now to even say anything about it because I might have to watch this again, man. That was a good number one. And then we're going to Mash Motherfucking Potatoes. What is your number one, brother?
Well, now I feel like a plebe going after the Albert Brooks picks. My pick is a really childish one compared to that. It's a movie two together because it's a 1 and 2 comedy movie, and basically to me, it's the extension of one of my favorite British comedy TV shows. They just brought it into the modern era and they called it Johnny English. It's Rowan Atkinson playing James Bond, basically, but he's terrible at it. He's got all the confidence and cockiness of James Bond, none of the abilities. Of course, Rowan Atkinson, you'll know as Mr. Bean, so imagine him trying to be James Bond. It's a freaking hilarious movie, though. It's got that same quick, like, classic Rowan Atkinson, like, fast joke, like, delivery that I love from Blackadder, one of my favorite British comedies ever. John Malkovich is the villain. He's hilarious in it. They're back and forth. He's like a Russian freaking terrorist guy. Just everything, like his sidekick who's actually good at his job. It's like Mr. Magoo meets James Bond meets Blackadder. I freaking love this movie. Johnny English and Johnny English Reborn. Watch them back to back. They're I have trouble separating them because I love them both. But if I had to choose, go with Johnny English. But yeah, great freaking spoof movie. That most people don't know, especially because they don't know Rowan Atkinson as anything but Mr. Bean.
No, yeah, that's true.
Well, after when you said Johnny English, I immediately thought of Rat Race, and I was like, why was that movie not on my list? Rat Race.
Oh dang, Rat Race.
Richard, what are your thoughts on Johnny?
Johnny English was okay for me, in my opinion. When it comes to spy comedies, I think of Austin Power. I think of Get Smart, and I thought they did it a tad better.
Well,
but Johnny English.
Oh no.
Johnny English was still good. It was just like Mr. Bean in himself is just like he's hit and miss. I enjoy Johnny English, but I felt like there were other movies that done it after Johnny English that were better in that kind of category.
All right.
See, yeah. I totally disagree. I think Johnny English is like smarter. It has like a more highbrow humor, and it just, I think it's funnier. I have such a like love-hate relationship with Austin Powers and those others like Spy Hard and other but like this was just the perfect send up of those genres.
Well, another reason why, in my opinion, was just because like this movie came out, I believe, after the Naked Gun series, and I absolutely love Leslie Nielsen in the Naked Gun series. Mm-hmm. So maybe to me that's why the Johnny English movies kind of fell a little to par, because it was coming on after the Naked Gun series movies.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Little Boat. Have you seen these films?
I have seen the sequel, Johnny English Reborn. I did not see the original. I did not like the sequel, so it didn't really give me reason to watch the first one, but I probably should. I do want to quick say, I completely forgot about the movie Black Dynamite. That would have made my list. It is hilarious.
It is.
But yeah.
All right.
I'm just more mad that Rat Race was supposed to be on my list, and it's like I blanked out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's underrated. That's a big time.
It really is, though. If you think about it now.
Dude, that was critically panned. Rat Race was like, people hated that movie.
Yeah, Rat Race is underrated.
All right. Well, since you guys said your number ones, I'm going to say my number one. And of course, I am saying my number one most underrated comedy of all time is from 2006, and that is
The Last
Nacho.
This movie is not underrated.
No, it's not.
All right, let me speak on this. This movie was actually a Nickelodeon film. This movie, nobody really watched this movie. Nobody talks about this movie. This movie, to me, I loved wrestling growing up. This movie is funny as shit. Just some of the, just going for the egg, trying to get his courage, meeting his partner. There's so much shit that's funny. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I won't. That movie came out in 2006, so yeah, I could talk about it. But when he slaps the corn, he's like, "Get that corn out of my face!" There's so much shit that's just funny and just stupid funny. And I love wrestling, and the church shit was cool. And this movie just to me was so underrated, and I think it's just funny as hell. And that's why this is my number one most underrated film, and it's Nacho Libre, because nobody talks about this movie. None of you fuckers had this on your list or honorable mentions, and I think this was just.
I mean, I never thought of it as underrated because I forgot the actor who played his tag team partner, but that's where he got his start, was in that movie.
Yeah,
and he got pretty big after that because of that movie.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, people talk about this movie a lot, in my opinion. I've heard a lot of people mention this movie. I don't like it. I don't think it's funny. I'm sorry, it just didn't work for me.
No,
there are moments I enjoyed this movie. I just didn't think it was underrated.
Yeah, Jared Hess, another movie he directed. You have your top three is all Jared Hess movies, Haven.
Jared Hess, dude.
They're all underrated films to me, I guess.
in terms of it being underrated, I don't know. Like my whole family went and saw this movie, so I don't think it was too underrated. But besides that, I'm in the same boat as the other Caleb. I didn't enjoy this movie very much at all. Like I hated like most of Jack Black's performance. It was dude, it was just so not great, dude. I did not enjoy this movie at all.
Dude, this was one of his best performances to me. Like, that's why I think it's underrated. I think this is one of his better performances. I just love this film. Like I watch it all the time, and I'll be like, I am. It just.
What do you mean, like his best performance in comedy, or just like in general?
It's in my top 5. That's for damn sure.
No, like I'm saying, like as an actor or as for humor.
As an actor.
I mean, I would say Holiday was a pretty good performance Jack Black did.
I would say Bernie.
We're not debating what's his best film. I'm just telling you, I like Jack Black. My number 1 film for underrated comedies, Nacho Libre, because I don't even think you guys are like, yeah, we've seen it, but the way you're acting, that's why it's underrated. Because you guys
I own the movie, Haven, because it was a horrible birthday present that my brother got me.
Hey, you like that?
No,
shit.
no, I understand your choice. Like the reason why it was on my list because I didn't think it was underrated.
Yeah, this thing is, it's like Eagle Powers, don't fail me.
But think about it now. It's just not talked about as much now. So I will give it to you for underrated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's my number
You
1.
gave me Galaxy Quest. So I'll give you Nacho Libre.
All right. Yeah. Holy shit. This was we've been here for a while. Well, we had fun. I think so. If we're gonna start from, let's just go around the room alphabetical order. So we'll start with Little Boat.
Me? Yeah.
Yep. Top 10. What was your top 10?
Yeah. Or what? Oh, say my top 10 again.
Yeah, just run it down.
Okay. Okay. I don't have the list with me anymore because I moved rooms. But my number 10 was crap. What was my number 10? Somebody go first while I go get the list.
All right, I'll go first. All right, my number 10 was Blades of Glory. My number 9 was Grandma's Boy. Charlie Bartlett comes in number 8. Number 7 was Good Burger. Number 6 is Bedazzled. Number 5 is Idiocracy. Number 4 is Eurotrip. Number 3 is Fanboys. Number 2 is Galaxy Quest, and number 1 was Stranger Than Fiction.
All right. I'll go next. My number 10 was Tucker and Dale versus Evil from 2010. My number 9 was Reno 911 Miami 2007. My number 8 was The Watch from 2012. Number 7, Nothing But Trouble from 1991. Number 6, In Bruges from 2008. Number 5, Meet Bill from 2007. Number 4 was Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story from 2007. My number 3 was Don Verdeen, 2015. Number 2 was Gentleman Broncos from 2009. And my number 1 was Nacho Libre from 2006.
Just realized all 3 of those Jared Hess movies were your top 3. Holy crap.
Little Boat said 5. All right, so let's go to Little Boat now.
Yeah, okay. My number 10 it was The Purple Rose of Cairo. My number 9 was Bernie. My number 8 was Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. Number 7, Pink Panther Strikes Again. Number 6, Broadway Danny Rose. Number 5, Arsenic and Old Lakes. Number 4, The Great Buck Howard. Number 3, Real Life. Number 2, The In-Laws. Number 1, Albert Brooks' 1991 masterwork, Defending Your Life.
All right, mashed potatoes.
Jesus. Yeah, my number 10 was Sex Drive. My number 9 was The Great Buck Howard. My number 8 was the Marx Brothers classic Animal Crackers. My number 7 was What We Do in the Shadows. My number 6 was Welcome to the Jungle. Number 5 was Hot Rod. Number 4 was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I switched out Mallrats to Waiting for my number 3. Silent Movie was my number 2. And Johnny English / Johnny English Reborn was number 1.
All right, that was we I had 4 different lists, 4 different. Yeah, this was the
Very
moderate
different list.
man, but it was fun and it was entertaining, and I hope people out there that's watching this could watch some of these movies and appreciate the films that we thought were pretty good. Holy
No, I
shit!
think for next time we should do just top 10 comedies, even if they're overrated, because my list would be different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We can always go anywhere with comedies, and any other genres. But all right, let's we've been here long enough, fellas. It was good hanging out with you guys. We're gonna go around the world and see where the good people can find you. Let's start with Richard Schwartz.
You can find me on Facebook under Richard Schwartz, YouTube under External Void, where I do mobile video games, which, by the way, I am about 71 subscribers short of 1,000. So looking forward to hitting that mark soon.
Nice.
And Twitter, External Void.
All right, let's go to Caleb, Little Boat.
Yeah, you can find me watching Stranger Than Fiction a little bit too late. But seriously, you can find me here on the Jack of All Trivia channel. I am the new host of a show called Shimoda and All Access, a great Shimoda and After show. You can find me hosting another show called Shimodown Countdown that we do sporadically. You can find me this Thursday night in a team match with me and my teammate Cameron Haas against Jay Burns and Dominic Rizzi, Lil Lebowski's Little Underachievers, or whatever their name is. That is going to be an amazing match. Tune in. It is such a good match. It's going to be such a good match. Yeah, subscribe to Jack of All Trivia. Just do it. Like, this channel is amazing. So many great stuff. Do it. Do it. Come on.
Come on, do it.
All right.
Hit the button.
Potatoes.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Caleb H or on Twitter at the Caleb Hansen. But I don't ever tweet anything. I really do nothing. So just follow Jack of All Trivia. Occasionally I'll like those posts. Other than that, you can. What's up?
Saying Caleb just murders mere people in his spare time.
Yeah, I do that. Check out James Shimo's channel where we play D&D, me and Richard and Jay Burns and Grant Gregory and James Shimo. We all play D&D on that. It's a lot of fun. And if you're into bad punk music, check out my band, The Beta Waves. We're on Spotify, iTunes, the things, Google Play, the other things. I don't know. You can find it. Just Google The Beta Waves. You'll probably see us. And we got a show on Halloween, the 28th, coming up in West Chicago. If you're in the Chicago area, check us out.
Nice. All right. And of course, you can find me, Haven, the villain Pendergast here, Jack of All Trivia. That's on Facebook. That's how you join us. And of course, that's on YouTube. That's how you watch us. And this has been the Naughty List, the top 10 underrated comedies of all time, distributed by Haven, Caleb, and Richard. I want to thank everybody here. Peace out and good night.